Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG Review Show. Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, and we're back here consigning another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation to our vault. I'm joined this evening by my co-hosts, Mazimir Bob, Tavikins Turner, and Chief Sean. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're well.
Good day. And good
evening. Good evening. Mazimir Bob, how's your week been this week?
Yeah, not bad week. Weather been better. My partner spent too long at the beach, and it's sunburned. But yeah, it's a good week.
Uh-oh.
Don't laugh.
I wouldn't even think Chris could get sunburnt, really, with his olive skin.
Yeah, well, it does. He does sort of feel like he needs to be a bit less careful. But I mean, anybody spends 9-10 hours at the beach, they're still gonna.
That's true.
He's still affected by the British climate, where you don't have any sun at all, and then you go out in it for 12 hours, and your body has no defences.
Yeah.
You don't get little bits of it here, little bits of it there. It's all or nothing. We do the same in Ireland. Ireland has, I think, the second or third highest skin cancer in the world. You wouldn't think, because look how pale we are, but it's just because we go from like doing nothing, no sun, to too much sun and nothing in between.
Yeah.
My.
And I've got my friend Tunny down.
Hey, Mr. Tunnicliffe.
He might be listening in as well. Maybe he'll say hi.
Good evening, Mr. Tunnicliffe. Hope you're well. Good evening to Tavikins. Once again, Tavikins has been suffering with some tech problems, hence why she's on her phone off to one side here. One day, Tavi will sort it out.
My sad little green screen. It's not up. My other camera would be here, but
yeah.
But I'm happy something is working.
But you're here,
so,
and we can hear you and see your beautiful face. Yay. So all is well with the world.
Mm-hmm. Det går ganske bra, Andrew. Litt sliten, men sånn er det.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's what I would have said. Definitely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't know what I'm agreeing to. I hope I'm agreeing to something nice. That's good. That's good. Good evening, Chief Sean. How's your week been, sir?
Oh, all right. I had to go to Tala on Monday and came back with my life, so that was a good start.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, I had my mandatory office day for a meeting that went on far too long, and yeah, just we all go into collaboration, you just end up doing about a quarter of a day's work, and it's just a big crap. So yeah, trying to recover my sleep cycle because I had to get up at 5 on Monday morning, so I had a really crap weekend, but the week can only get better from there.
Yeah, it can only get better. Things can only get better. I'm not going to start singing.
Yeah. Brian Cox.
Brian Cox.
Hey.
Brian Cox on the keyboard.
He is my love. Oh my God. Data, but Brian Cox. He's. Whew.
Data and Brian Cox in the same room. My God, what would you do with yourself?
I would disintegrate.
You might like Darryl O'Brien, possibly. He's a comedian who's also kind of into the astrophysics stuff, and he's also a giant human being. He has a head like a bowling ball.
That doesn't sound very attractive. You haven't sold me on him.
He's got the build of. He's got kind of Goujon's build. You know, he's a giant, massive man, like a big.
Oh, I do like Titanic torsoed men.
Yeah, he's a big, 150 kilo man, like 2 meters tall. He's huge.
He doesn't quite have.
I'll look at him, but if he's not looking right up in here.
I mean, he doesn't quite.
He does look like a potato.
Appeal, he does look like Mr. Potato Head.
He does have a big Irish head on him, yeah.
Why would you recommend this guy?
My head, but bigger and less hair.
I'm looking up this guy right now. We got okay. Enough with the chit chat on my side, at least. I'm gonna look. What is this dude's name again?
Here you go. I've done it for you, Tammy.
Okay,
I've done it for you.
Like?
Here you go.
Where is he?
This is Darryl O'Brien. That's your man there. He's not an unattractive man, but he's not like Brian Cox, is he? You know.
He's not
particularly. He wasn't in a boy band.
He wasn't in a boy band. No.
No. Or well.
And he doesn't look like he's still in a boy band.
No.
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 But he's aside Brent Spiner, he's absolutely delicious.
Mazima Bob has disappeared. She's left. Right, I'll say hello to live chat. Good evening, everyone out there. Good evening to my wrench smiler Rainbow. I hope you all enjoying yourself with Crystal Karen in the fun room. Good evening, Andrew. What's happening with you, mate? I hope you're having a good week. Good evening, Ruth. And good evening, Stuplum, and Karen's there. Yeah, so good evening, all you beautiful people in live chat world. We're at 495 subscribers. We are now just five away from the big 500, and me eating the Naga chili chocolate.
Oh.
One day.
If he's watching, he'll set up like 5 dummy accounts to make sure that he's going to see it on the show tonight.
Do it.
Please subscribe.
Please
Monty some chocolate.
Yeah.
Name us as a beneficiary in your will. Sell us your house for £1. Name your first child after us. You know, the usual stuff.
The usual things. My things come back. I'm going to just bear with me. Talk amongst yourselves a minute.
And if you could put the bingo link in chat as well, Monteban.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case there's anybody new that wants to play.
Yeah, we'll explain bingo while Monty's doing that. Essentially, I go off on a lot of tangents and ramble a bit, and Tavi pulls me up on everything I say. And if you tick enough boxes, you get bingo, and there is points and bonus points for the quiz at the end. And since it's a double episode, there's a good chance because there's a lot to talk about.
We could have our first full card on bingo. You'd have to do several drink changes and uniform changes, though. So yeah, maybe not.
Oh, okay. Did I mention they're doing upscaled Blu-ray re-releases of Doctor Who?
No, no, I
Okay.
did not know that.
No, okay.
Ooh.
Did I mention Star Wars Ahsoka is out?
Yes, well, I did
You're
know
just going for
that.
the bingo now.
I did know
Did,
that.
did you see the clips I put in the Facebook chat from Lower Decks where they reference this episode?
No, I didn't. But I tell you what I did do.
You might.
He's
Well,
just
they're only
trying to
about 30
spam the
seconds, so you could
bingo.
maybe play them
Stop
later. And
talking.
you might get away with it.
Maybe I might play them at the end of the show when we don't
Yeah,
risk
we'll see.
being cancelled. I did
Fair
watch. You talked about it last week. I did watch the last episode of Strange New World season 2. I finally saw that.
Oh, very good.
And you are right. It's a better episode. It was better
Yeah,
than a lot of the episodes.
it ended up on a high, but in 18 months I'll have completely forgotten it, and there'll be the other half. And what's
Yeah.
this? Huh?
What's that about? Yeah.
Monty,
What-
Smiler's pointed out that there's a box in front of Tavi on the screen. It looks like a little Windows
Oh,
dialogue box. Or
there you
something.
go. It's gone. My bad. My bad. All right, then. Let's get on with it. We got 2 episodes to get through. Now, because of 2 episodes, got a lot of stuff to get through. I am going to be rattling like a chain gun through these acts. So, wish me luck. So, we are talking about and consigning to our vault this evening Chain of Command Parts 1 and 2. Starting with Part 1 is Episode 10 of Season 6, production number 40276-236. It first aired in the United States on the 14th of December 1992 and was the 135th episode to be both produced and released. The teleplay was by Ronald D. Moore, and this was his 18th of 29 writing credits, and the original story was by Frank Abate-Marco. He was a chap who was primarily the supervising producer on a lot of season 6 of TNG, but he wrote parts 1 and parts 2 of Chain of Command, as well as Man of the People, you know, that episode where Troy got aged. Got the age sucked out of her.
Oh yes.
He wrote those 2. So yep, it was directed by Robert Shearer, who we've talked about a number of times. This was his 10th of 11 episodes. The only one he's got left is Inheritance. So yes,
I
that
was
is
just
the
going to
people.
say the two-parter came out across. They were the last episode of 1992. So once we finish this 2-part, we're into 1993. So we're exactly 30 years behind.
Yeah, and this is also
So catching up.
This was also the last episode of TNG aired before Deep Space Nine's The Emissary. So they coincided this Cardassian two-parter with the launch of Deep Space Nine
in this one, I think.
Yeah. So there you go. Anything from Mazza Bob?
Just that it was originally written as to be a single episode with Picard rescued at the end, but they decided to extend it into a 2-parter, and it was a way of, because they were running over budget for the season, it was a way of doing a really, really, really good bottle show that wasn't going to cost them too much. So yeah, that's why they decided to do it. So I think that was a good idea.
I think it was probably because all the budget was currently going into season 1 of Deep Space Nine, because they had to build like the promenade and all that, you know. I think Paramount were like, yeah, we're spending too much on Star Trek. I know.
Yeah, well, the second episode, while it is a great set, I mean, they just spend it in either existing sets or that one room, you know. So, it was, as Mazza said, it was a budget thing, and the room, while a fantastic set, doesn't look like it cost that much to put together.
No.
But I really like the interrogation room.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool looking. Okay, so we're going on with the teaser, and I've got my picture. Let's get the first picture up.
The wheel ready as well for later, Martha?
The wheel is ready and spinning. I've got it ready, baby. Okay, so the teaser. So the Enterprise's rendezvous with the starship Cairo near the Cardassian border, and Picard and Riker are meeting Admiral Nechayev in the ready room. She instantly dismisses Riker, and when alone tells Picard that she's relieving him of command. End of teaser. That's it. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting from this teaser.
All right.
Cool. Ready?
So, yep.
You gotta have the question time There we go.
I would put money on it, but that's probably the shortest teaser in all of TNG. It's just
I think,
very,
I think so.
it's about 40 seconds. That's bang. Anyway,
Yeah.
teaser question. What is the name of the ship that drops off the Chev? A. Charleston, B. Cairo, C. Cerritos, D. Crazy Horse. And the bonus question is, how many pips did Admiral Chev have? Obviously, they're in a box because they're Admiral chip or pips, but they're nonetheless, that is a number.
Oh, I rattled through it so quick, I forgot I'm seeing a picture here. Oh, you don't... Ah!
Okay, well, someone may have seen the answer there.
Sorry, I was just saying, oh my god, I forgot a picture, but yeah.
No panic.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I didn't ask the question, and a different question I was going to ask. But yeah, what's the name of that ship beside the Enterprise there?
I can tell you it's an Excelsior class starship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looking very small next to the Enterprise. It is.
Well, there's one you definitely know it's not. Yeah, well, it should look smaller because it's in the background, and obviously the ship should be smaller. So I think scale-wise, it's a little bit too big, if anything.
Yeah.
It should be about the same length, slightly shorter, but it's yeah, I'm not sure. The scale is a little bit too big.
So thankfully your question didn't step on my my goof. But what was Vice Admiral Nechayev not wearing on her uniform? Yes, my fan, comm badge. And in fact, during the whole time she's on board, she doesn't have a comm badge on until later on when she's on a communication. And obviously this marks the first appearance of Admiral Nechayev, or Vice Admiral, I think she is, isn't she, Nechayev? Yeah, she goes on to be in 3 more episodes of Next Generation, as well as 2 episodes of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, she's always a bit of a bitch, but she's only in 6 episodes. I thought she was in more because she has such an... I was like, oh, this fucking Karen. Like, such a Karen.
I was
before
surprised
you knew what a Karen was.
No offense, Karen.
No offense, Karen.
Sorry, Karen.
Different. Complete. It's Karen rather than Charon, so it's
I do love in the episode Valiant in Deep Space Nine, the first officer who's a real bitch. Her name is actually Karen. It's just perfect. We'll get to it in like 5 years. One day in the future.
I did think it was quite. I was surprised we've gotten to halfway through season 6 and now Nechayev has turned up. I was like, Christ.
Yeah.
She really came in towards the end, didn't she? And I thought she was like there like for ages.
I'm gonna have to bust in on this though.
Yep.
I don't think she's a bitch. I think she's just a hardcore. There's a reason why she's an admiral and not old as hell. It's because she's sharp and she's hard as nails, and she doesn't mince words. And I think when people see like a female like that, they take that her lack of softness to also mean she's a bitch. She's not a bitch. She's an effective officer.
Yeah, I guess. It's the militarization of Starfleet, I guess. If you're looking at it like a military
it was after
operation.
Jean died. Yeah.
But I don't really like looking at Starfleet like that. But yeah, I guess if you do, then you can see it.
And neither did any of the crew this episode.
No, that's it. It's supposed to be exploration, and it was being treated like a warship. So yeah, that's why I didn't like it.
I didn't like it. No. Yeah. Right. So answers.
It was the Cairo.
It was.
The Charleston and the Crazy Horse were also Excelsior classes, but I don't think I probably caught anyone with Cerritos. And I heard some people saw it, and some people heard you say Vice Admiral. Yeah, Vice Admiral, hence 3 pips. Rear Admiral is 2 pips, Vice Admiral 3 pips, Full Admiral
And
is
it's
4.
3 pips. Is it not 3
She
pips
technically
either
had
side?
6 because she had
that's
3
correct,
either side. Yeah.
Well, if you said 6 or 3 and 3, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Admirals have them on both sides, and Vice Admiral is 3 pips, and 1 is of course a Commodore, which you don't see often. Well, actually, you don't see it at all up until Picard. From TOS to Picard, it's not a thing.
So for the wheel, we have Mazza, Monty, Stuplum, Tavi. That's it, I think.
No Ruth.
I've missed anyone.
Mazzy, Monty,
Oh,
Stuplum,
Ruth said B and 4.
Abby.
So,
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Mazza,
both
Stupler, Monty.
Ruth
Right.
were foxed by your
Okay,
extra.
so here we go then. I've left Wookie on there,
Where-
as is traditional.
Where's Wookie? Where's
Wookie, you
at?
there? Oh,
Not
shall I
here
take?
yet.
Oh, he's not here.
Oh, don't have
Okay.
Wookie on the
You
wheel if Wookie's
You
not
can't take him
listening.
off. He's not here.
I'm gonna have to take him
Our
off. I'm gonna have to take
our
him off.
abyss, our point abyss can't be on there if he's
No.
not here.
Sorry, Wook. Thanks for watching back later. We know you always do.
Yep. Here we go. Let's spin that wheel. Do, 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 do. I really need a music for the. It's Mazza. Right, Maz. Good start. Good start. And there is the pips from the missing image.
Well, as I said, it's Commodore, Rear Admiral, Vice Admiral, then Admiral.
Yeah.
Now you know.
No, you know. Okay, so on to Act 1. And I am going to rattle through it. In the observation lounge, Nechayev meets with the command crew of Riker, Data, and Troy and briefs them on the Cardassian mobilizations and their increase in subspace communication. She believes that they are preparing for an incursion into Federation space. Riker is skeptical that the Cardassians are ready for war with the Federation, but Nechayev points out she didn't say war, she said incursion. Intelligence reports that they are planning to seize one of the disputed systems along the border and are banking on the Federation not wanting to risk war for such a small loss. The Enterprise is being sent into the area as a deterrent. Riker is about to ask about Picard, and she replies that the captain, chief medical officer, and head of security have been reassigned. Captain Jellico of the Cairo will command the Enterprise during this mission, and the change of command will occur at 1300 hours. She dismisses them, but Riker stays behind and questions the change of command. Nechayev tells him she wants experience with the Cardassians, and that isn't him. Meanwhile, I hope he takes that well. Meanwhile, in the holodeck, the secret mission crew are practicing some kind of assault on a Cardassian cave when they keep failing the exercise and are frustrated that Picard is not giving them any more information. They reset the holodeck and try again. In the transporter room, Riker welcomes Jellico aboard. Jellico grabs his hand and shakes it, telling him he is the class of 57, graduated 8th in his class. He's looking forward to serving with him. He tells Riker he is missing the Cairo, but thinks the Galaxy class is special. He can see why Riker has passed up commands of his own to remain on board, and he wants to change the Enterprise's standard 3-shift rotation to a 4-shift, and wants to examine the duty rosters and review the Q evaluation as soon as possible. He wants readiness reports from 1400 and meeting the senior staff at 1500. He's no messing captain, this one. No messing.
I actually liked him. He was actually like a military style captain.
Yeah.
You know, in modern corporate world, and I work for a bank, I really get frustrated by this decision by consensus that just takes absolutely months to get anything done. I would find it so incredibly refreshing behind someone who just tells you just to do something and get it done. And damn if someone tells you no, just move on. I would find that so refreshing. I'd say maybe you don't want to quite do it the way you're saying, maybe do it slightly differently, but nonetheless to say, yeah, we're not talking about it. I just want to hear you've done it. Fantastic. I was like, I need more of that in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but if he was a woman, would he have been called a bitch?
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly.
KD Fitness, good evening. I hope your back's feeling a bit better.
Ooh, who's KD Fitness? New chat.
That's Chris.
That's my other half, Chris.
Yeah.
Are you subscribed, Chris?
Mr. Maz.
I believe he is. Yeah.
One more subscription has been added to your channel.
Yeah.
As he gets into Turbolift, he asks Riker if he likes Will or William, and Riker confirms Will is fine. He wants to know which of the quarters he's been assigned, and Riker tells him 735, which, of course, he automatically knows is Deck 7. As he goes, Will looks exhausted.
I don't know if any of you have ever worked in a hotel, but if someone asks you what floor is room 4, 5, 6 on, like it's the 4th floor. It just I don't know why people think there's a great code to it.
Yeah. The Enterprise leaves the Cairo, and in 10 forward, Picard hands the command codes over to Jellico. I have to say, though, I mean, as fine as all this is, watching Picard hand over command to Jellico, and there was no speech or anything. It's just like I'm handing over the command codes on this thing, and it's like,
relieved.
That's it. I stand relieved, and they just went about their business.
Yeah, I think.
Well, they said it was weird that they even had that ceremony because it was supposed to only be like a temporary thing.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't give speeches if it was just going to be like half a day, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were under pressure. Picard was in the, and you see it with Beverly in the scene. They've just come out of the holodeck, just long enough to do this, and then they're back in the holodeck again to do more training. So, they didn't have a lot of prep time.
Yeah. KD Fitness is coming with sausages.
Oh my.
Apparently.
Yeah. Do you prefer Will or William? I prefer Willie.
Yeah. Tony kept texting me sausages. I think he was just trying to get us to say sausages online, but I ignored him. So now they put it in
sausages.
I used to work with a guy who was called Will, and I naturally used to refer to him as Big Willie. And he let slip to me once that he has two different shoe sizes, like one's a 9 and one's a 10. So I used to tell people, see here, Big Willie, he's got a 1.5 feet.
Very good.
There you go.
I love it.
You'd be chatting up a girl in the pub, it's like, see Big Willie there, he's got a 1.5 feet.
Yeah, very good. Where am I? Oh, yes. So Troy talks to the doc, who seems a bit sore, but the doc can't talk about what she's been doing. Picard's busy giving Jellico the lowdown on the Enterprise and all the things he needs to think about, but Jellico points out he doesn't need mothering. He'll take care of the Enterprise, don't you worry. Jellico asks about the secret mission, and Picard says that they're working on floor plans that are 2 years old, so it's not going well. Jellico offers to launch a Class 5 probe just before they reach the border, and Picard thinks that'll be very helpful. Jellico calls Will over and tells him to make Delta Shift to launch a probe, and Will's like, that'll be difficult because that shift doesn't exist, but Gamma Shift will do it. Riker explains the Watch commanders said that 4 shifts would cause a big personnel problems. Jellico isn't happy and tells him this is not a discussion. He expects Delta Shift to be in place in 2 hours. Get it done. As he leaves, Jellico turns to Picard and in a disbelieving tone says, and he's been your first officer for 5 years. Picard defends Will, saying he's the finest officer he's ever served with, and Jellico tells Picard that he's sure it will all work out, but his tone says otherwise. And that is the end of Act 1. Question time.
Okay. In a deleted scene, which sport did Jellico say he played at the Academy? A, rugby, B, tennis, C, baseball, or D, water polo? Sorry, I cut that question off. And the bonus question, which of the senior staff isn't present or accounted for in the observation room? So when Jellico is briefing the senior staff and he makes excuses for the senior staff that aren't there, but there's one person who's neither excuses nor in the observation match.
Okay.
The first question, you can probably work it out because the sports I mentioned are associated with different Star Trek characters. I will give you that clue.
Good evening, G of the Underground Paradox. I hope you're well this evening. And I'm going to go with...
Bits of tricks and
G,
juice.
Sabine, how are we? Oh, please do.
So good that we've got those two on the screen there because Patrick Stewart was ecstatic to be working with Ronnie Cox.
Brian Cox?
He had Ronnie Cox.
Ronnie Cox of Two Ronnies fame.
4 candles.
So first, Cox's first lead role had been in Deliverance, and Stewart's first role had been in Excalibur, and they were both directed by Boorman. So had some things in common.
His most famous role is probably RoboCop, I would think.
Oh yeah. So they were crawling through the caves. Well, apparently Michael Dorn and Patrick Stewart had a bit of a fit of giggles because it was kind of sandy in there, and there were lots of cats going around. They were using it as a bit of litter, and Patrick Stewart was like, oh my God, like earlier I was doing all these really glamorous things and now I'm here calling through cat shit. And they just fell out laughing hysterically. Everybody else didn't know what they were laughing about.
Tabby's busy doing her
crunching.
Her seaweed, seaweed munching ASMR.
I thought my mic was muted while I was munching. Sorry.
And then the final bit, there's not really much in this act actually, but the final bit is that Picard tells Jellico that Riker is one of the finest officers he's ever served with, which is almost exactly what he told Cerna Rami in Peak Performance. So yeah, he's obviously
he also
singing Riker's praises far and wide, but other people don't seem to see it quite the same.
Picard also says pretty much the same thing to Worf in First Contact. He calls him a coward, and then he kind of apologizes and said, "You're not a coward. You're probably the finest man I've ever known," I think is the quote. He doesn't say the finest officer, but close enough.
By the way, has everybody got blood wine this evening? I have my blood wine.
Yes, I have some wine.
You have some wine in your Earl Grey cup.
Wine.
In my Bodum coffee tea or Earl Grey tea mug.
Amber Lager.
Nice.
Nicey. Let us know in live chat if you've got your own blood wine or ales or Romulan ale or whatever it is you're partaking in this evening.
No points for that. Well, maybe I can throw in 1 point for this. But as first person to tell me who said this quote. So I lied. I cheated. I bribed men to cover the crimes of other men. I'm an accessory to murder. But the most damning thing of all, I think I can live with it. And if I had to do it all over again, I would. Garrick was right about one thing. There we go. All right.
Yeah, you referenced that episode last week as well. It's a great. All right,
episode. That's because I was getting this uniform.
I see.
There we go. That one and the other quote, of course, is the line must be drawn here.
Yeah, you didn't mention about his new uniform.
Yeah, very nice.
No.
Very nice. Really new uniform there.
Yeah. But I can do the Cisco thing where I can get progressively undressed as the episode goes on.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's very good.
But wait till the second half.
Oh my.
Okay, so answers to the questions then, Sean.
Yep.
What we got?
So it was, he played rugby with LaForge's captain. There was a deleted scene where he talked about it with LaForge. Tennis, who played tennis?
Janeway.
Actually, she did, but I was thinking of Bashir.
Yeah.
But Janeway also played tennis. Baseball.
Your guy who you dressed up as.
The blackface. Yeah. And water polo.
Water polo. Poor.
Captain Archer was the water polo guy.
Was he? Well, there you go.
In Enterprise. Yeah. You never saw him playing it, but he was getting videos back from Earth, so we could keep an eye on the collegiate or the varsities, whatever you want to call them.
Well, Wookiee can go back on the wheel because he's now arrived. Wookiee is in the building.
Oh,
everyone.
Great! And Geordi, he wasn't in the observation room, and he wasn't in the the special ops training. No explanation for it. He just wasn't there. I thought it was odd, so I made a question of it.
All right. See you later, G-Star. He's working on his next G-Star Vault for the Vault. Thank you very much. Good, have a good editing session.
It's all about wine these days, isn't it? I'll have my cornflakes. I'll have some wine.
Have some wine.
That might have been a Red Dwarf reference there.
It might have been. Wookiee was late because he was exposing
Let me catch
himself. He's exposing film from an old camera. Of course, Wookiee. Of course, we believe you.
That's all he's exposing.
We believe you. Okay, so who's on the wheel? I can put Wookiee back on the wheel.
Yep.
And who else have we got there? We've got. Anybody?
Well, what was the right answer to the second part?
Geordi.
Oh,
right.
It was Geordi.
So
I got it right.
Montalban.
Yeah.
Tavi.
Yeah.
Ruth.
Right.
I think that's. Oh, and Stuplum.
And Stuplum. Sorry, Maz? No Maz? No.
No, I didn't even venture a guess, but I have no clue. Lady Fitness guessed Worf.
Right then, let's spin that wheel.
Yeah, it's just such an odd thing, but I noticed I was like, where's Geordie? He's not in the room, he's not in the training, he's just not in the scene. I guess he wasn't available. LeVar wasn't available. Monty!
Monty, take the point.
Fix. I demand a recount. Okay, we're on to Act 2. Yeah, already. Okay, so we get the first Jellico captain's log of the Enterprise, informing us that we're on course to rendezvous with the Cardassian ship Reklar. On the bridge, Jellico is issuing instructions. He wants several modifications to the tactical systems. If the negotiation fails, Jellico wants to be loaded for bear. Will says he'll get right on it. At Science 1 and 2, he wants damage control and weapon status. He wants them manned at all times. He orders battle simulations for all shifts and orders Riker to see to it personally. Oh, and get that fish out of my ready room. He takes Data to engineering and orders Geordi to improve the coil performance by 15%. Geordi doesn't initially think this possible, but Data confirms it is by taking all the science and research things offline. And Jellico's like, we're not doing science now, people. Get that done. Geordi agrees that by putting his entire engineering team to work for 48 hours, it's possible. And Jellico says, do it. Data leaves with Jellico.
Oh, I would not be a fan of Data.
No.
If I was working with him.
Data leaves with Jellico.
Yeah, he wasn't helpful, was he, in that exchange?
Oh, you can do
Well,
it. You just have to
was.
forgo sleep and
He
work
was completely
24-hour
honest,
days. It's
but,
fine.
you know,
no problem.
It's not what a human would do.
It's not, what
Not reading the room on that one.
Yeah, to quote Lower Decks, buffer time.
Yeah.
I actually did this in a meeting once at my last job.
Figure
It
out
was,
how much time it takes and add 30
yeah.
or 40%, and that's how long you budget for it.
That's how you get your reputation as a miracle worker.
Yeah, you'll never be 100% efficient. Someone will always come over to you to talk about what you're doing at the weekend or some crap.
Yeah.
Computer won't work. So you always add 30% minimum to whatever time you give.
Yeah.
Somebody will start crying on shit for some reason.
Data leaves with Jellico, thinking he looks like he thinking he's done something wrong, but he's not sure what it is. But he knows he's done something wrong. Right, in the ready room, Jellico is making it feel like home by hanging up some pictures his son made, which is a bit of a revelation. He has a young son that makes those kind of pictures. It's like, crikey, he started late.
I think they were trying to make him look powerful and also virile, as in he's still getting it done. So I was like, wow, what a cheesy way to put that in there. However, they did it pretty, it was still kind of classy.
Yeah, right, I get it. Yeah, okay.
I don't think it played as well as it should have done. But obviously they were trying to show he was softer, and Deanna later goes on to tell everyone he's not as self-assured as he is. They were trying to play off that. It didn't come off well, but they were trying to play off that this was a front, this was bravado. You know, he was doing a Trump basically, and
I think they were trying to establish him as different to Picard as well. And Picard's always been like, don't like children, and this guy's a family man. They should have made his grandchildren.
Yeah, grandchildren might have made more sense, but he just I don't think that particular element worked well. It seemed a bit clunky. That's all.
Yeah.
And here I am saying it's just because he's virile, because he can still boom.
Just guessing.
He can still.
Well, I mean, if Beverly can father or mother a daughter with Picard, when Beverly is like 65, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Wookiee, it's from Deep Space Nine or the TNG film franchise. That's where.
Yeah, you see it first in First Contact. Yeah.
Yeah.
1998.
So Deanna visits and wants to talk about how the crew are feeling about the transition. Jellico admits to feeling some resistance, but she feels that it's just both he and the crew need time to adjust to each other. But Jellico doesn't have the time. So he puts her in charge of getting the crew used to his new routines and dismisses her as he has a meeting with the new security chief. As she leaves, he tells her he wants her in a standard uniform whilst on duty. In the corridor, Jodie...
I need a red wine refill.
Oh, go. You go, girl.
No, hopefully it'll be brought to me, but we'll see.
Let's see. Chris, are you getting the memo? You getting the memo there, Katie Fitness? We need... It's a red wine emergency. Is he as efficient as Smiler Rainbow?
Yeah. Chris is Italian, isn't he?
No.
No, he's half Mauritian.
Mauritian.
Oh, okay. Oh, I work with a Mauritian. Oh. That's French, isn't it?
Yeah, they speak French, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, Chris doesn't because he was born in Bedford, but his mum does.
Okay, well, that's useless. Never mind.
In the corridor, Geordi is moaning to Riker about Jellico's expectations. Riker's like, what do you expect me to do about it? I can't do anything. Geordi suggests Will talk to Picard, and he agrees. In Picard's quarters, Jean-Luc's looking knackered. He only just wants to sit down when Will arrives. Will takes one look at him and says, actually, don't worry about it. Sorry I bothered you. And walks back out again. Picard meets with Captain Jellico in the ready room, and they discuss the mission briefly. Riker calls and informs Jellico that the shuttle is ready for launch. Jellico asks whether they launched the probe as requested, and Riker tells him that they did, but he didn't know that he was supposed to inform him about it. Again, Jellico is unimpressed with Will's performance. Picard again tries to stand up for Will, pointing out all his achievements and accolades, but Jellico frankly doesn't care. He believes that the Cardassians are not going to back down, and neither are the Federation, so the Enterprise has got to be ready for war, and it's his ship now, so get with it. He wishes him luck on his mission and hands him his book of Shakespeare. And that is the end of Act 2. Question time.
That'll do us. All right, where are we? Questions. What drawing did Jellico say his son had drawn him? A. Elephant. B. Lion. C. Tiger. D. Bear. E. A sailboat. And well done if you get that reference. And what is Captain Jellico's catchphrase? Equivalent to make it so. So his version of make it so, basically. What does he say?
Okay. Yeah, I think I've got that. I don't know about the picture. I'm going to guess a picture. But I think I got the phrase.
Yeah, I realize sailboat is just a joke answer, and it only really works if you've ever seen the film Mallrats.
Oh, was it an elephant? Was it? Did I?
You're saying your guess isn't the same as what everybody else put in.
Oh, yeah, I'm just seeing all the A's and my B. Oh, no. It was a guess.
Hey, Katie Finnis, guess A.
Yeah, nobody copped to put lion, tiger, and bear together.
Apparently, Wookiee thinks I look like one of the characters in Ahsoka, Skull.
Yeah, we were saying earlier, Wookiee missed it, that we know it came out, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, none of us have.
Anyway, little goof, not major, but the turbo lift, do you think they're supposed to be made of, I don't know, some kind of metallic substances or something? Well, on the frame of it, there's like a wood knot. I mean, there are parts of the bridge that are made of wood, so I don't know if that would be an issue, but I don't think it's supposed to be made of wood.
No.
And obviously, Jellico demands that they take the pet fish out of the ready room.
Yeah.
Oh, my wine's
look,
arrived.
he's done it.
Hey.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Thank you very much. So apparently Patrick Stewart had often said that he thought having a pet fish went against the ethos of Star Trek because, you're supposed to have respect for all living things and keeping one captive wasn't right. And apparently he mentioned it often and said that he shouldn't have a fish, but they never really paid any attention to him. So Cox reckons that this was their way of almost like appeasing him a little bit, even though they actually brought it back later.
Yeah, it's straight back, isn't it?
Obviously, Troy was asked to change uniforms.
Yay! Last.
Cool, and that was quite a fan
She looks good in
favorite.
uniform.
And in fact, even Troy, what she called Marina Sirtis herself was happy with that. She thought it, lends her character a bit more credibility and stuff. So that's good. And as you guys mentioned earlier, they're establishing Jellico as a kind of by the book sort of guy. I mean, he's got his get it done, which is less friendly than Picard. He's a family man. He likes everything right. Like when he comes onto the bridge, they always announce Captain on the bridge and stuff like that. So he's a stickler for all of the, the little details and rules and regulations. But again, that doesn't, make him an ineffective captain. It just gives him a different sort of management style to Picard.
He's a military man, isn't he? Rather than a captain of a science vessel, he's a military style captain. And I think in Starfleet, with the whole galaxy to manage, and you're going to have captains that are more for exploration, or captains that are more for science, and captains that are more for beating the shit out of things. Yeah. And he's one of those.
As I said, I work with a manager as a waffler, and it drives me crazy. Just great at communicating and fucking getting on with things, but look, nothing ever gets done. Give me a Jellico any day of the week. I'd be so much happier.
I was a bit perturbed with this episode and everyone whinging and acting like they couldn't get in step. And I'm like, you guys have been attacked by the Borg and all these other people. This is war. Perpetual red alert. Get your ship ready or die.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this was an issue. Take your orders and get it and do it.
Yeah, it's wartime.
Yeah, they've gotten soft from being a exploration ship with families on board. They're not quite used to being in this position, are they? But yeah, they should be professionals, and they should get to it.
Riker especially is disappointing, isn't he? Just his whole attitude and demeanor through this episode is just really annoying.
Yeah, he was catering to all these science people, and it's like, yeah, we don't care about science. Just like have them fill in engineering. Just get it done. So.
We saw Captain Picard exhausted, collapsing in his quarters. Did you notice what was in the background?
The tapestry,
his book on the stand,
his book,
which is also simultaneously supposed to be in the ready room, and he wasn't given it yet from Jellico when he was in his quarters.
I think he has two, because he often goes
he must have two, one in each place.
Yeah,
because
he often goes from the ready room to the to his quarters.
He's hardly walking it back and forth.
He always has one on display on both places, so I got a feeling he must have two.
Yeah. And that's all I had.
To Wookie's question, giant haystacks would make the best Gorn, I think. Because I think wasn't Big Daddy called Shirley? I think. Was he called Shirley?
I don't know. Don't call me Shirley. That's all I know.
Yeah, I think it was called something like that.
The answer was elephant. Yeah, lion, tigers, and bears. Oh my, is a reference to someone can tell me there.
Kirk.
Oz.
Yeah,
Dying?
Wizard of Oz, and to an episode of Deep Space Nine called the Great River. I forget the exact name. And Sable was reference to a thing. And get it done was his expression. And I do use that expression. It doesn't always work because I'm not a manager, but I'm just like, bullshit. Just get it done.
You just go around shouting at people and hoping something happens, right?
No, it's just when I'm giving out to management, it's like, stop making excuses and just get it done.
And just get it done.
Get it done. We've got you know what the answer is.
I wonder why Sean has problems with his career.
Yeah. Yeah, frustration.
Oh, sorry. What am I putting names? Montyman, Ruth?
I think it's all the same people, but Stuplum said, do it. So maybe not Stuplum. No, don't put him on fire.
Not Stuplum.
No, you need to take him out.
Go pick him up. Take him up.
Oh, he's going to go.
Yeah.
Just the 4 then. Just the 3. You got it right.
Tabby, Ruth, Monty. Yeah.
Oh, Maz. There we go. I'm spinning the wheel. Is that right? Spinning the wheel? Am I spinning the wheel?
Yes. Spin the wheel.
Do. It's going to be Maz and McBob.
Twice now. Twice in one day.
Twice
Crazy
in a
look.
day. It's all about the McCoys today. It's all about the McCoys. Okay, Act 3.
Yeah.
Gotta keep motoring on. The secret team leave in a shuttlecraft. Now that they're underway, Picard tells them the true mission. Starfleet believe the Cardassians are producing metagenic weapons that destroy everything with DNA. They are planning to launch them on background subspace waves that would be undetected until too late. Such waves have been detected coming from Celtris 3, a research facility, and as Picard has studied theta band carrier waves whilst on the Stargazer, he was chosen for the mission. Worf is the muscle, and the Doc is there to neutralize any biotoxins they find. They head to Tormund 5 to enlist the help of Damon Sulok. Sulok is not interested in helping initially, but after Beverly turns on the Beverly charm, and with some soothing umox, he finally agrees. In the cave, that looks exactly like the holodeck one, the team are infiltrating Celtris 3. Beverly picks up subspace signals, but it's difficult to get a fix. Worf gets spooked by some linars, which are like bat-like... Oh, that's not the picture. That's not the picture at all.
Yeah, show us your household budget there. Go on.
Yeah, no, that one. Okay, well, anyway, it's supposed to have a picture of linars, so imagine bat-like creatures. And the team head off to explore more caves. On the bridge, Riker enters and tells Jellico that the Raklar is... that the captain of the Raklar is aboard and waiting in the observation lounge. Jellico tells Riker he will be in his ready room, which confuses Will. Troy goes to the ready room and asks him if there's been some kind of miscommunication, and Jellico points out that Cardassians are like wolves, and he's establishing a dominant position in making him wait. Troy is not convinced that that's a good strategy, as in the fight for dominance, one wolf ends up dead. Jellico says, in that case, be the one that's still standing. In the cave, the team were about to lower themselves down a 500-meter rock face, and Worf asks Dr. Crusher if she's afraid of heights, and Beverly's like, of course not. And why would she be? And they lower themselves down. And that's the end of Act 3. Question time.
Time and cash. Okay, so which type of weapon is suspected of being created? So what kind of weapon are they chasing down? Is it A, biogenic, B, metagenic, C, calisthenic, or D, metrionic?
Ooh.
And this this is a bit of a mean one. Which shuttle bay did the Feynman depart from?
What?
The shuttle, the Feynman.
Which shuttle bay did it
crikey.
depart from?
Which shuttle bay?
And it's called the Feynman after?
Mr. Feynman? Sorry, I don't know.
Well, I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing like Richard Feynman, the physicist, probably.
Oh,
They go on about him in Big Bang a lot.
They mispronounce it as Feynman, but yeah, it's Feynman.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
God damn it. I think Ruth's right. It is one, isn't it? God damn it.
I have no idea.
Now she said one. I'm seeing it from above. I'm thinking, no, it was one. I think it was one.
The one annoying thing about that heights thing, they all have grappling gear, or sorry, rappelling gear, whatever you want to call it, spelunking gear. And they're not afraid of heights. What were they doing in the holodeck for 2 weeks? Practicing stuff. Had they not practiced this? When did it suddenly... They just like took it all out and knew how to use it, but they were like, that didn't make any sense to me.
Well, also their ropes only seemed like they're about 50 meters long. They're supposed to go 500 meters. They're going to run out about the way they're down.
Yeah, they don't have any Spock rocket boots or something.
500 meters. I mean, that's half a kilometer. That's quite a long way. That's a lot of rope.
I know.
That
And
is
they
a
have
lot.
these little ropes that they put down and attached at the top.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, they're not going to get very far.
No.
They could be like those
Feynman.
Tolkien ropes. And... Fine.
Do you have anything on where they meet so-called there, Mazza, do you?
I have lots of stuff. So
Oh, you
the
do? Oh,
shuttle
sorry, okay.
Was a Type 7 shuttle, but the interior apparently was
Type
actually a Type
6.
6.
Yeah, it
I don't
was.
really know what the major differences in the interiors are, but The goof gods tell me that that's the case.
Well, Type 7 was slightly wider inside, and the helm stations were a bit like the helm stations on the Enterprise D. They were those kind of like, those swivel-like ones. Where that was definitely a Type 6 inside. I don't know why they just didn't use the Type 6 shuttle from the outside. It's better anyway.
They had the model. I don't know. And they did it twice.
Yeah, they did it twice.
Also, the weapon type that they described, where it can get rid of matter but leave buildings intact, was echoing the fears of the day about the neutron bomb. So it was sort of being topical for its time. The view of the structure of Torma 5 was a reuse of what they did for the Masterpiece Society, 1992 episode.
They didn't even flip it. Like they just flipped it the other way to and changed the color a bit. No, the exact same shot. They didn't even re-expose it. They just used the same 5 seconds of film.
Even in HD, even in the Blu-ray version, it's still exactly the same. Yeah. They didn't change it at all.
Yeah, it just...
No.
And as you alluded to with Solok, Damon Solok, so a few things about him. One was he was originally going to be called Selok, but then they realized they'd already used that name in Data's day. He was originally going to be Quark, and this was going to be a crossover episode, but the decisions on air dates meant that we wouldn't have known who Quark was at this point in time. So they decided to replace him. But yeah, I don't think there was anything rewritten. They just changed the guy's name. And also the scenes were shot on the Deep Space Nine's Replomat set, but they sort of made it a bit darker and kept the camera in tight, so you can, it's a bit difficult to see that reuse. The final thing about him is that the guy who plays him, Lou Wagner, and Michael Dorn had previously appeared together as supporting cast as members on Chips.
Oh, Chips, yeah.
In 1977.
Just say it's the first time we ever see Deep Space Nine, and that tickles me deeply. It's just like, yes, we're getting there. So it's the first chronological appearance of the Deep Space
Chris
Nine
says to your last answer, to be or not to be? I think it's not to be, because I think it's 1B or B1. So, yeah.
Or B4.
We got some 2s, some 1s, and a lot of Bs.
Covered in Bs.
Yeah, it was. There are biogenic weapons, and they do much the same thing, but this was a metagenic weapon. What calisthenics? Do you remember what that is?
That's the Worf workout thing.
Pretty much, yeah. And metrionic is a bit more vague. I was alluding to the Metreon Cascade, which is what destroyed the Talax moon of Rhinax, where Neelix is from. But it's never called metrionic that I recall. It's just always called the Metreon Cascade. But that's what I was doing there. Oh, and the Shuttle Bay was Shuttle Bay 3.
It was 3.
Oh, so nobody got
3,
that right.
Oh, nobody got
that
right.
I was going to guess 3 originally.
Well, if nobody gets it right, do we put all the names that guests on? Isn't that the rule?
No, I think nobody goes on.
I don't know. I don't think anybody goes on.
We're just moving on.
No points.
No points for the bonus on that
points.
one.
Nil point.
We're on to Act 4.
Speaking of nil point, hard luck on the football.
Yeah.
It's okay. You still have the rugby to look forward to. England are looking good.
Oh, no. It's no longer coming home. It's not coming home, everyone. No.
They're going home.
They're yeah, that's about right. I just stuck this shot in here because I like it. Jellico has been keeping Lemek waiting for over an hour. Jellico enters with Riker and Troy, and Lemek's not happy. He's not happy that Riker and Troy are there because he didn't agree to them having AIDS. Jellico tells him if he's alarmed, they can leave. And Lemek's taken back, but he's not alarmed. Jellico tells him that if he's not ready to talk in a serious manner, then the Cardassians should send someone who is. And he storms out, followed by Troy and Riker. As you mentioned earlier, Maz, I like the way as he goes on and off the bridge, he gets Data to announce his arrival. Captain on the bridge.
Captain leaving the bridge.
Captain leaving the bridge. Captain running down the corridor. Captain entering the head. Oh no. They return to the bridge, and Jellico tells them that Lemek to let Lemek stew for a few minutes and then go back in and tell Lemek that the captain's a loose cannon and that he can be convinced to give the negotiation a second chance, stress how unreasonable he is, and begrudgingly allow them 2 aids. Then Jellico leaves. Riker thinks he's very sure of himself, but Troy's like, he really isn't. Back in the cave in Celtras 3, the team have finished their descent, and the readings now show that they're only 300 meters away from the installation. The doc laments that there's not going to be another way out. They're going to have to climb back up that 500-meter cliff, but that's the job they've signed up for. They then find that the lava tube is behind a rock face, so Worf decides that set a phaser on level 16 should suffice, and he phasers a makeshift hole. It's a pretty rubbish effect, actually. That
Also, level
hole.
16 is the top one, so when he says should suffice...
Where else are you going with it?
Clunky. Yeah, it's like, oh, well, that'll probably do it. Well, if it doesn't, you're kind of screwed.
Back in the observation lounge, Jellico formally introduced himself professionally to Lemek, and Lemek introduces his aides, Glynns, Korak, and Tajar. Jellico, Riker, and Troy sit at the other end of the table. I quite like in this negotiation how they sit at opposite ends of the long table, as far away from each other as possible. It couldn't get more pronounced.
It reminds me of Coming to America.
Yeah, they're taking their positions, at each end. Jellico gets right down to business, accusing the Cardassians of amassing troops on the staging areas and pulling ships off their normal patrols, but Lemek insists that they're just routine training operations. Jellico offers to conduct his own training operations in the area, but Lemek would prefer the Federation just leave the disputed planets alone. It's a special military operation that the Cardassians are conducting. What could possibly come from that? Jellico is seemingly enraged at the notion, and Troy has to calm him down. Riker tells them that the Federation would not start a war, though. But now Lemek has the upper hand, revealing that their intelligence has led them to believe that the Federation has already launched an invasion team of its own. And if that turns out to be the case, it would prove they would have a very strong response. And by the way, where is Captain Picard? I hope his new assignment isn't too dangerous. Jellico looks completely blindsided and calls a recess. Back on the planet, the team are crawling through the lava tube and seemingly to their demise. When the cave traps Beverly, Worf immediately springs into action and digs her out. She is unhurt, so they continue their mission. They find the maintenance hatch and use sensor echoes to get past the proximity centers. They can't scan behind the hatch, so they plan to go in firing. They enter the hatch and finds it's empty. There's no lab to be found. That is the end of Act 4, and it's question time.
Silence.
So minor error. Okay, which of these is the name of Lemek's aide? A. Elam, B. Enabran, C. Eamon, or D. Korak? And the bonus question. I'll have to skip the question here. Or mislabeled the question. Bonus question. What color beam do the Cardassian disruptors emit?
Don't know.
I will say it's not the usual color or the color we associate with them later, because obviously I wouldn't be asking the question otherwise.
I think I might have got this one. I think I might.
I think I haven't.
A jelly bean. If your jelly's purple, then it's
jelly
quite
bean
right.
colour. Brilliant. That'd be cool though if it did shoot jelly beans. So this is the first appearance of the iconic Cardassian military uniform seen throughout the whole of Deep Space Nine.
Yes.
And
It's no longer the big rubbery
guy-
things.
The first one was
What?
pretty crap, yeah. The original one,
They had
it
these
was
big
similar,
black
but it was
rubbery
awful.
things on, didn't they?
Yeah, it wasn't good. And they had like weird things around their head. Or something.
Yeah.
Oh, the helmets, yeah.
Um,
Looked like a thong.
so yeah,
upside down.
the guy who plays him, John Durbin, he also played a character called Sesta, which was like a weird, almost lizard-headed creature in season 1, episode Lonely Among Us.
Right.
And then he's also Trady in a season 5 episode of Deep Space Nine called A Simple Investigation. And he plays an alien miner in a season 7 episode of Voyager called Critical Care.
He's a proper Star Trek character actor, isn't he?
Yeah, he's certainly done a few. When they come and go from the room, like negotiating with the Gull, when they're not there, like they seem to just leave him on his own.
Yeah.
You think a Cardassian would be, flanked by several security guards or something, but
you do see later when he leaves the room, there's 2 security officers just outside the room.
Oh, they're just outside.
So the door towards the bridge is locked, and they can only go the other way, and there's 2 security officers there. So he is being held.
Makes sense. I love how they have a recess after negotiating for about 100 seconds.
Yeah.
That's quite fast. What else? Oh, and towards the end here, when Worf's trying to disable the magnetic lock on the door, you can see his make of these gloves he's got on are Pearl Izumi gloves. You can tell by the logo. So, yeah.
These gloves here.
Yeah, he puts like a little device on the door and you see them up close.
You are one badass company if you still manage to stay in business after all that time.
Even in Strange New Worlds, there's like these goggles they're wearing in a couple of episodes on their away missions, and someone has found them, and you can just buy them on Amazon for like $20. So they haven't changed their spot. The leopards haven't changed their spots in that respect. They just the boots they wear are a little bit more expensive, but they are a common brand, and you can just buy them off the shelf. They're fine if you know where to look.
Okay, answers to the question.
All right, so the
quite a few D's and quite a few purples.
It was D. Korak. Who was Elam? Can anyone tell me?
Yeah, he was
Elam Garrick.
Elam Garrick. Yeah,
Garrick.
He claims Elam was his best friend, but it's also his first name.
Yep.
Find out later.
Spoilers.
An Ebron.
An Abrantane.
He was
an Abrantane. Yeah. Also was Garrick's father. Eamon. This one's a little bit harder.
I didn't know this one. Oh, no, it's not his.
Did he host this morning?
No. Did he host what?
This morning. Oh, that's Eamon Holmes.
No. It's spelled very differently. But the Eamon is Eamon Maritza. From the episode US, the Butcher of Galatep.
Oh,
and Korak is the right answer.
Yes.
And the color is purple.
Yeah.
It's a purple beam. They're always
so
kind of
on the wheel is Tavi, Monty, Ruth. Stuplum said red and blue. That makes purple, right?
Yeah.
And Stuplum.
Oh, 2. No.
That works.
Stu. Right. Here we go. I'm clicking the button. Do 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 do. Oh! Well done, Ruth. You saved our bacon there. Thank you, Ruth. Ruth. Congratulations to you.
The dark side of me always wants Wookiee to win. Watch the world burn.
Just gonna get that spinning again. There we go. Right. Okie dokie. So we're into the final act of part 1, Act 5. Hopefully I'm getting through it quick enough. The Cardassians suddenly attack. The Doc shoots one. Worf beats up another one by palming him in the face. And the hatch starts to close, so Worf tries to keep it open, but he gets shot, and the doors close, leaving the captain on the other side. And Picard surrenders. Back on the Enterprise, Riker has found that there are a lot of coded messages happening from Cetrus 3. Riker also notes that there's been Theta-bound emissions coming from the planet up until a couple of minutes ago. Jellico orders Riker to get Nechev on a Priority 2 channel in his ready room. Back in the ready room, the Admiral takes the call and asks him if they've heard from their friend, and Jellico says no, he hasn't. The Admiral hopes to see them again. I guess they're sort of talking in code in case, like, the Cardassians are listening in.
Mm.
And an imposing...
And I thought it was a very nice, soft side of her, where it was just like,
Yeah,
oh, well, mission complete. Oh, how sad, bye.
Yeah.
She actually did. You could tell she had a very regal intent in seeing them alive again, even though she didn't have to say that.
Indeed. In an imposing room, an unknown Cardassian welcomes Picard and tells him he will prove an interesting challenge. Picard wonders what he wants, and the Cardassian simply tells him they wanted him. Jean-Luc Picard, serial number SP937215. He tells Picard about his parents in France and how, whilst captaining the Stargazer, he studied theta band waves. Picard realizes that they were after him and wonders why he's been lured here, but the Cardassian tells Picard in this room he doesn't ask the questions, he answers them. And if the Cardassian doesn't like those answers, Picard will die. Dun 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 dun. To be continued. End of part 1. Question time.
Just give me half a second because I had to come up with a replacement question on the fly because I realized I missed something. Hold on. Honestly, 30 seconds.
Every time that scene comes up where he's like, I want you, and I'm thinking that Picard is going, dude, I did not swipe right for you. Ooh, take a hint. Because it's just, it's really creepy the way it came off. Like, where is this going? Exactly.
Yeah. Mazma Bob's changed. I think she's done something with her hair. Or her hair's missing. There's something different about her anyway.
Oh. It is. She does look different.
Sorry,
she doesn't look well.
Actually, I skipped the question and I just had to throw one together on the fly. What is the name of the planet that Picard is captured on? A, or Chintaka Tree? B, Celtus Tree? C, Cestus Tree? Or D, Corellian Tree?
Well done for throwing that together.
Yeah, well, and it was a short act too, so that's why I was like, stall for time. And name a Star Trek film that the Gul Madrid actor David Warner has appeared in. That's the bonus question.
Okay. Yeah.
I was going to let Mazza fill with some trivia, but she's obviously away on a Grogu emergency.
Yeah. But we're only just over an hour in, and we got to the end of part 1. So
we're doing okay here. There's no fireworks this week.
Grogu says A for his answer. Grogu's doing a great job. We'd hardly noticed she'd gone, basically. I think we've found a new co-host, maybe. But, yeah. I thought the set for the interrogation room is really good, really nicely done.
I think it's fantastic. But even then, I can see the construction of it. It's fairly simple.
Yeah.
You know, they've used the freezer grates, they've used the fusion paper for lighting and stuff. But everything about it is great. But also, you know, if I had to recreate it, I could do it myself for very small money. It's simple.
I like their little black invasion like uniforms. They're pretty cool. With no insignia or anything on them. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we're gonna have to just get straight on with the answers to the question.
Okay, we will do. The first one was B, Celtus Tree. Does anyone know what Chintaka is?
I know Chintaka. I've heard.
No idea.
Can't think what it is.
In the Deep Space Nine Dominion War, the end of season 7 thing, the battle there's a first and second battle for Chintaka. It's kind of the battle of the bulge of the Dominion War. Celtus Tree is the right answer. Sesostry. I misspelled it, but Sesostry. Do you know what Sesostry is?
No.
It is where in the episode Arena, the Gorn have invaded a Federation colony, and later on, Castiates' brother goes out there and starts a baseball league. Because the colony. And Carillion Tree, Carillion is where Han Solo is from. It's a Star Wars reference.
Yeah, it's where they make the Carillion cruisers.
Yeah. The Millennium Falcon is a Carillion.
Yeah,
Carillion
it
ship,
is.
as they
Yeah.
said. I put that question together on the fly in about 40 seconds. I'm happy
Very
with that.
impressive.
And in relation to name a Star Trek film that Gold Madrid actor David Warner has appeared in, there is 2 of them. There's Star Trek 5 or Star Trek 6. Either of them. He played Sinjin something or other in Star Trek 5. I haven't watched it since. I don't watch that film. It's awful. And he played Chancellor Gorkon in Star Trek 6. So
He did.
Star Trek 5 or Star Trek 6 or both. Any of those answers are fine.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, who have we got then? Who said 5 or 6? Myself, Ruth, and that is it. Oh no.
Just you and Ruth or Cakes?
Oh no.
And Wookie. So you got 1 in 3 chance.
Oh,
points.
No.
Oh, okay. Statistically, you're worse off.
I wish I hadn't got this right now.
Well, I thought because you had a choice of 2 films that, the odds would be in your favor of people guessing, but I guess not.
Here we go. Oh no.
No! Oh.
Oh, gladness.
Oh. Okay, well, I took a hit there.
And that's -10 for both of you, right?
Yeah, for both myself and Ruth.
Rub it in.
Yeah, just to rub it in there.
Sorry, guys.
Unlucky. I actually thought that was an easy question because it was in 2 different films. Anyway.
I got to get rid of some of these tabs because we've got to go through a whole load more tabs, so I've got to get rid of some.
No
Sorry,
offense, Maz, I
everyone.
thought you probably would have mentioned it at some
you
stage.
don't need to be looking at this.
For whatever reason, you didn't
You can
have
look
to.
at our faces.
Yeah, it is in my trivia. I just haven't gone around.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Well, them's the look of the draws.
Them's the apples. Or whatever. Okay. Should we get straight on with part 2? Unless you got anything you want to mention about part 1 before we move on.
Yeah, we're scoring them both together, right? And like when we do like
Oh no, we score them
series break,
separately, don't
score
we?
them separately.
No, we score them separately. Oh my God, what am I? Yeah, okay. So everybody put your votes for the scores for part 1 in chat. We're going to do this very quickly. Yes.
I'm in a bit of a panic because I'm just trying to catch up on the quiz because I stopped for a comfort break.
Yeah. Yeah. Put what would you score part 1 of Chain of Command out of 10? 1 to 10. Put it in chats. We're closing. We're not adding the. Are we adding the? I don't know. The bingo scores. This. We haven't discussed it. I don't know. I'm gonna go no. Should we just hold it over for the second one?
Yeah, keep going with the bingo.
We'll keep going with the bingo.
Do it at the end.
But we can add up all of the. Yeah.
Yep, I'm just finalising the quiz scores for that bingo. Do that at the end. Oh, yeah. AD Fitness did get that one right as well. And just 1 score to add.
6 for Ruth, 7 for Wookiee, 8 for Stu Plum.
So, oh my goodness, in first place on the quiz is me.
Hey.
With 440 TNG review points, because I cheekily got 2 spins of the wheel, which was nice.
So what's that, 10 points for you?
And then we have, that's 10 points.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we have 3 people in second place with 420. That is Tavi, Ruth, and Stuplum. So they get 8 points each.
8, so 77, 82, and 84. Yep.
And then is your good self, Montran, with
Yep.
360 TNG review points. You've got 6 points on the board.
6 points. 76.
And then in the next joint position is Karen and KD Fitness with 180 TNG review points. So they get 5 points each.
5 each, that's 12. And oh no, and KD Fitness is not there. No, Chris, no. KD Fitness. What was that? He got
5.
5.
5.
Right, there we go. I won't sort that out. I'll sort that out later. So, what are we scoring? Have you got your paddles ready on standby?
Paddle is ready.
Okay, let's go then. 3, 2, 1.
9877.
Yep,
High score from Sean.
that's unusual.
Well, look,
7. What's Mazza?
I've made
Mazza
no
was a 7.
secret of the fact that how
7.
much I love.
Tabikins was a 8, was it?
8. Yeah. Sean
And
9.
Sean
And
was 9.
audience is 7 on average.
And audience is 7.
Yeah.
Well, I've made no secret of how much I love Deep Space Nine, and yeah, you start to see the Replimat, you
Excited.
see the Cardassians, you see the Galore class warships, you see it just all of it just gets me giddy and just goes, yeah, we're getting there, we're so close.
Amazing.
The puts Chain of Command Part 1 in second place behind A Fistful of Datas. So
Yeah, well,
Nice.
I don't think anything's going to beat a fistful of the D-man. That's just
No.
a good time by
You
all
never-
involved.
A
you
good
you
a
never
good
know.
fisting from Data is really gonna be tops always.
The key is to relax. Just relax. Just take it easy and let it happen.
So I don't know if you said this while I was away, and apologies if you did, but yeah, David Warner took over the role of Gol Madred with only 3 days' notice.
yeah, 3 days
So he didn't
notice.
actually have any time to learn his lines. He was
And-
actually using cue cards that he was breezing over Picard's shoulder.
And he didn't know anything about TNG. He was like a fan of the original Star
Didn't know
Trek.
anything
and
about the
didn't
Cardassians.
know anything about any of it.
He said he thought he got that they were bad guys, and that was about it. He just had to sort of go with it.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we
Almost like
didn't know
Stuart
anything about the
were first in the
Cardassians.
production of Hamlet together, I believe, or no, Stuart first saw David Warner in a production of Hamlet after joining the Royal Shakespeare Company. What else? There are also 2 Christmas Carol veterans, but they weren't in the same production. They did different productions.
Ah.
There was a cutscene, as you mentioned. 50th Star Trek convention in Las Vegas voted this 7th best episode of the Star Trek franchise. Entertainment Weekly ranked it among their list of top 10 episodes. Yeah, that's about it. I'm done with this episode.
Okay, that's it. We're done for part 1. So here it is. Dun dun dun. Chain Command Part 2, Episode 11 of Season 6 of Star Trek The Next Generation. Production number 40276-237. It first aired in the US on the 21st of December, 1992. It's the 136th episode to be both produced and released, and was again written by Frank Abate-Marco.
Abatamarco.
Abatamarco.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it was his last episode of Star Trek that he wrote. It was directed this time by Les Lando, and it was his 31st of 34 episodes. There we go. Should I go straight into the teaser?
May as well.
Straight in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Last time on Star Trek The Next Generation. And now the conclusion. The teaser. Picard is drugged and being questioned by the Cardassian interrogator. He asks some control questions about his birthplace and his parents, and Picard answers truthfully. They move on to details about the Celsius 3 mission, and Picard answers them all honestly. So the Cardassian thinks he's ready for the direct questions. He asks him if what are the Federation defense plans for Minas Corva. Picard answers that he has no knowledge of such plans, so they increase the drug level. And they start interrogating him all over again. And that's the end of your teaser.
Yeah. Again, a teensy teaser.
Yep.
Okay, so
because most of it was a recap, right?
Well, that's after the teaser, I would think. But anyway, what was the first question Picard was asked? A. Current assignment. B. Mother's name. C. Place of birth. D. How many others were part of this mission? So what was the first one he was asked?
Not sure, but I'll take a stab. Got a bonus question?
Sorry, yes I do. And in what future series, Star Trek series, do we see Jellico return? So he is seen later on.
Another guess. Cool. So, so this key influences for this episode were an independent film called Closet Land and Ro Laren's backstory and how her father was tortured and stuff. And there's actually references as well by, what's he called, set designer Richard James, who was trying to avoid any similarities with Closet Land because it was a key influence. So he wanted to keep himself open to his own vision of what the torture room and everything would look like. Jerry Taylor did do a page one rewrite of the teleplay, but did not get credited for it, which was a really common occurrence, which often annoyed people. But Michael Piller later stated that Jerry did a remarkable job and is extremely proud of this episode. This is the final episode to air before the debut of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and also the first episode to air since the death of Glenn Corbett, who played Zephon Cochrane in the Metamorphosis episode from the 60s series.
Right, yeah.
And that's all I have.
Yeah, cool. Okay. I have to say Lower Decks was a complete guess, just because I couldn't think of anything else.
Me too.
Unfortunately, you're half right, but in true, actually nerdy fashion, he's mentioned in Lower Decks, but you don't see him until Prodigy. Because he is a higher ranked admiral than Janeway, and he gives Janeway orders in Prodigy, but you don't see him. And
nobody got that.
And I admit I have to actually go back and look at this again because I couldn't remember what the answer was. But the first question he's asked is place of birth, followed by mother's name, followed by current assignment, followed by how many others were part of the mission.
I just said it. I did just say it. If anybody's not that anybody's listening to me in my rambling.
What's mother's name? Did you say?
Hey, no, it's place of birth.
Place of birth, followed by mother's name.
Oh, right. Sorry. Okay. So Monty Baum was the only one who got that one right. Oh no, Tabby got it. Oh no, and Stuplum. 3 people got it right.
Okay. So that's me, Wookie, Stuplum, and
no. That's not the bonus question.
No, nobody got that right.
Oh no, nobody.
The bonus question was Prodigy.
Sorry. Yes, of course. I'm just having a senior.
But they do mention him in Lower Decks, and as I said, I've sent you on 2 clips we can show at the end when we're not worried about being taken off air. But he's mentioned twice in Prodigy, but he's mentioned twice in Lower Decks, but he only appears in Prodigy.
Righto. Okay, on to Act 1. Onwards and upwards. In his log, Jellico notes that negotiations have gone nowhere and believes that confrontation with the Cardis is inevitable. You hear that sound, Mr. Anderson? They are still in the observation lounge with Gul Lemek and his aides, where, despite Jellico's assurances to the contrary, Lemek divulges that he knows Picard, Worf and Crusher have gone into Cardassian territory and killed over 55 men, women and children on a brutal assault of one of their outposts. Wow, the absolute savages. Especially that Dr. Crusher. Brutal. As proof of these crimes, Picard is being held prisoner. He assures them that the Cardassian Union will respond to this provocation, and he leaves the negotiation. Will asks Jellico if there's any truth to it, and Jellico reveals the secret plan and that the Enterprise was due to meet them at the Lycian system, and orders Riker to take a shuttle and head to the rendezvous point himself. Back in the interrogation chamber, Picard demands an independent representative in accordance with the peace treaty, and the Cardassian interrogator removes Picard's blindfolds and restraints and assures him that one has been requested from the nearest independent planet of Tuvon 3. They then talk about the first Tibetian civilization of Cardassian Prime, the ancient tombs that contain breathtaking artifacts of Jevonite, but that were plundered by the impoverished Cardassians. Picard wonders when they lost so much. Picard wonders that why, when they lost so much during their long war with the Bajorans, would they then risk another war with the Federation? And he wants to return to his ship. The Cardassian tells him that ain't happening. He's a criminal, and he will be tried and punished. He is merely giving him the opportunity for this process to be civilized, the price being cooperation. Tavi.
You can hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you. Picard points out that he has already told him everything he knows. The Cardassian rejects this, though, and reveals that he was trapped because he is the captain of the flagship of the Federation. Would be the capital ship in this area, so he would definitely know the plans. He calls in his aides, and they pull Picard to his feet, who protests that torture is forbidden under the terms of Soldonis IV Convention. His pleas go unanswered. The Cardassian pulls out a knife made of Jevonite and asks Picard if he has any physical ailments. He should know about it now. He cuts away his clothes and tells him that from now on he shall only refer to him as human. He has no other identity or rank. He ties him up on some kind of steel rack that he's lowered from the ceiling and leaves him there naked and alone. And this scene ends with a sort of behind shot of Picard strung up. But it's such a harrowing picture. I'm not going to leave it there at the end of the act. I'm going to go back to this happy picture of the Enterprise.
Just put out, Picard is nearly 90, or Patrick Stewart rather is nearly 90. He's still in better shape than me. That man is, I don't know if it's genes or just discipline, but yeah, he's in shape.
Yeah, he does. I think he's quite obsessed with exercise fitness.
I have to say, I think this is the most harrowing end of an act that I think Star Trek has ever done.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to mention it a bit later, but apparently when it was aired by the BBC, they did eliminate or, doctor a few of the scenes from some of the more intense torture scenes because they got a lot of complaints that it wasn't really suitable for children. And
for 6 o'clock in the evening for the 1990s, It was a little bit like, oh crikey, that's pretty rough.
Well, there's one episode where they mentioned the Irish reunification of 2024, and it got banned for like 12 years because it had a positive message about terrorism and as a means to achieve an end. BBC were like, no.
BBC banned it for years and years and years.
Yeah, it's just really great. Did we get to the end of the act? Have we asked the question?
Yeah. No, we haven't asked the question yet. Sorry.
Sorry, I'll throw the questions in and we'll go on then.
Hold
on, a couple of answers. Okay, so which stone does Madred have as part of his knife? A, Benamite, B, Boronite, C, Jevonite, or D, Zenite?
Oh, I said that wrong. I said that wrong in my notes then. I put the wrong thing.
Yeah, do you know, I had to go back and check it myself. I know exactly what you're talking about. But the captions and what's on Memory Alpha kind of was different from what he said, slightly. But yeah, you're in the right area. It's roughly the same. The bonus question, and does have options. Which is the username of the Captain Jellico meme page on Twitter? Is it A, Alpha Shift, B, Beta Shift, G, Gamma Shift, or D, Delta Shift? So the username at Alpha Shift, Beta Shift, Gamma Shift, Delta Shift. Which one?
That was for what
is the
shift?
name?
The fourth shift.
And so that if you don't know about it, there's basically a meme page on Twitter by Captain Jellico of him doing dad jokes. It is the most fantastic thing on Twitter, and I look forward to it every day. It's as much fun as the same picture of Chief O'Brien every day page on Facebook. It's great. It's part of my life. Every day it comes up with new jokes, and they're all very, very
good. Okay.
Not Swifty Shift Wookie.
No,
Everything's not Swifty.
Shift.
It's what's it called?
that's
Rick and Morty. Yeah, that's the one.
Go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say that this, obviously you've got David Warner and Patrick Stewart, and it's just really great seeing these two Shakespearean amazing actors kind of facing off against each other. I really enjoy it as an episode. What else? And at the end where he sort of was stripped of his clothes, apparently Patrick Stewart insisted on actually, being naked in this scene and have a closed set so that not many people were there. So he could have, that sort of feeling of vulnerability and exposure and stuff as a bit of a method acting kind of play, which I thought was pretty cool.
Wookie's just doing his impression of a big giant head in chat there.
Nice.
Show me
Can I
got.
Can I just ask you to put me front and center for a second? I just have an image there I want everyone to see. Captain Jellico, did you see the garment I sent you? Yes, I did, Mr. Garrett. I've never worn a reversible jacket before. I can't wait to see how it turns out. That's just... So, if you don't follow the Captain Jellico Twitter account, please do, because it's just fantastic. If you like dad jokes, that is fantastic. You can put me back to my little head.
I'm enjoying dad jokes.
Not a big giant head.
Yes. And Big Giant Head, of course, played by William Shatner. Fantastic.
Oh, it was a different big giant head. Yeah, that wasn't the big giant
from
head
Rick and Morty.
I was thinking of the ones from Rick and Morty.
Show me what you got, guys.
Show me what you got.
Yeah.
There is a guy, a rapper, none like Joshua, who has the ultimate Getting Swifty rap song that I put on in the house. So that I'll have to send that to Wookie if any of you guys want to check it out. But
Mike McMahon was one of the, not the main guys, but like the second tier guys on Rick and Morty, and that's part of the reason why you got the Lower Decks job. So we kind of have Rick and Morty to thank for Lower Decks. So
yay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Answers. Do we do answers?
We have not done answers,
No,
but
answers.
I think Mazza kind of gave the game away a little bit. So yes, it was Delta Shift because that's the fourth shift. That's why it's at.
I just didn't
Delta
hear the
Shift.
question. Sorry.
And you didn't put it in
And it wasn't
chat,
written
so
in chat.
It was Jevonite. I thought he said Genovite, but yeah, as you said,
No,
it's
actually, I
Jevonite.
looked
in
back over
Memory
my notes
Alpha.
and I did get it right. I must have. lost it.
It's the way he says it. It just, but
Yeah.
the notes, Memory Alpha, everything calls it Jevonite. So that's what it
Jevonite
is.
is the one. Yeah.
But if you said Genovite,
Jevonite. Yeah. I'll take it.
If it starts with a J or a C, or you use the letter C, that's fine.
So we got D for deltas, haven't we? So that's Tavi, Roof, Stu Plum, Monty. That's everyone, really, isn't it? Stu.
This
Roof,
would be a great time for a Wookiee.
Tavi, and
Yes.
Mazza.
It's I'm rooting for myself and Wookie.
That's everyone. We got the full Monty on the wheel. So let's spin that wheel. Spin
it.
Bum.
Oh, it's gonna be
Nice.
Well done, Tammy. Nice job.
I put the link to the Rick and Morty rap in our StreamYard It is quite funny. I don't know if Wookie wants that. So.
I'll
I'll
have
put
to.
a link in chat.
Yo, it's NLJ.
Hang on. Whoop. Hang on a minute. I'll see if I can get this on here.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Game Boy Jones.
It is very fun.
They can't hear it, and you can't hear it, but the
I'll
stream
mute
can.
this up and listen to it on my
Very good. Okay, that's me copyright strike time.
couldn't hear it on my phone either. Must have
I'll tell you what, for anybody who wants to listen to that themselves, there's the link in live chat for you all there.
Tell me.
been kind.
Just before we move on from the Twitter thing, can you just make me big one more time, because there's another dad joke and it deserves some appreciation.
Go on then.
I'm currently reading a book called Swimming the English Channel by Francis Near.
Or
There we
actually,
go.
I think more like,
Hearing me.
that's more like it.
Francis Near.
What?
What is made of leather, a foot long, and sounds like a sneeze? A shoe.
Oh my goodness.
God. I no.
It just.
That was painfully beautiful. I like that.
Painfully beautiful. I think it's a bit more
Shut
like
up, Sean.
Exquisite pain.
Ask Delta Shift on Twitter or
Exquisite
Captain
pain.
Edward Jellico on Twitter. It's so good. I love it.
Okay. Act 2. Riker returns from his rendezvous, picking up Dr. Crusher and Lieutenant Worf. And in sick bay, oh, no. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong everything. In sick bay, there we go. Beverly informs Jellico what happened, and Jellico orders rest for them all. He tells Will he wants Geordi to analyze the readings from Beverly's tricorder to see if it tells them anything. And Will wants to start organizing a rescue mission. Of course he does. Jellico refuses, though, as they don't even know if Picard's still alive. And because of the situation, it would be foolhardy. Riker must accept he is gone. In the interrogation room, the Cardassian re-enters and tells the human, good morning. He hopes he slept well. He sits at his desk and presumably pours himself some kind of Cardassian coffee from a flask. He asks the human if he's thirsty, because he's sure he is. His aides lower the human, and the human can't lower his arms anymore. Sad times for the human. The Cardassian turns on the 4 lights above him and asks the human, how many are there? The human sees
Patrick.
4 lights.
More naked Patrick.
Yeah. The human sees 4
Oh, nice.
lights. I don't think that's the reaction you're supposed to have, but
I did consider making a question out of what was keeping his modesty intact, but I didn't go with it.
yeah. A laptop.
What item was obscure and obscura?
It's a bit like that scene from Austin Powers, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Do you know?
Yeah.
Actually, just before you move on, the chair that Madrid is sitting in, I'm fairly sure is also used in Austin Powers. It's the exact same style. But yeah, by the by.
But the like secret layer of Dr. Evil.
Yeah. Do you
Conference
know
room
when he
chair.
presses the button and they all shoot into the fire pit? The exact same chairs. I even matched up the shots. I just happened to notice that. Just randomly, you hit upon that. I had to mention it. I was like, they are the Austin Powers chairs.
Yep, the human sees 4 lights. The Cardassian disagrees, though. There are 5. He asks the human if he's noticed the incision in his chest. Whilst he was unconscious with the drugs, they implanted a device that can cause any level of pain to any part of his body he wishes. The Cardassian tells him that he doesn't enjoy doing this, but he must demonstrate its effectiveness. So he presses a button on a on a device, and the human drops in agonizing pain. He warns the human that this was its lowest setting. He asks him again, how many lights is there? And the human again says there are 4. And again, the Cardassian administers the pain. Back on the Enterprise, Lemech shows Jellico, Riker and Troy highlights of Picard's interrogation, where Picard admits to the secret mission. Lemech suggests that they will execute him. Riker protests under the terms of the Soldonis IV Convention, but Lemech points out that that only applies to prisoners of war, so the Federation would have to admit this is one of their operations. Jellico refuses to do so, so Lemech tells them that Picard will be treated as a terrorist. Jellico replies that, quite frankly, it's none of his concern. Lemech offers an alternative. The Federation just needs to leave the sector, and Picard will be returned, and all this will be forgotten. Jellico agrees to discuss it with his superiors. After Lemech leaves, Jellico tells Riker and Troy that he plans to advise Nechayev to reject the offer and bolster the numbers of starships along the border. Riker demands that for Picard's own good, they need to admit that it was at least a Federation mission so he can get protection, but Jellico refuses as it plays into the Cardis' hands. Troy tries to de-escalate the situation between the two men, but fails and it escalates instead. Jellico accuses Riker of questioning his judgment, and Riker shouts back that it's the duty of the first officer to point out any mistakes made by his commanding officer. But that's not really it, and Jellico's not having any of it, so relieves him of his position and threatens to confine Will to quarters if he continues. And that is the end of Act 2.
He was literally told, I was going to send you to your room if you don't behave.
You go to your room.
Yeah.
You're not playing with those toys. Now go to your room.
Are you my mummy?
Sort of leader.
Doctor Who reference.
A little bit, yeah. And Tommy's like, what?
Doctor Who reference?
Okay.
What?
I don't know either.
Which,
Are
I
you
don't
my
believe
mummy?
it. Which star system do the Cardis keep asking about? A. Mutara, B. Meridian, C. Minos Corva, or D. Metalis? And this is not related.
Sorry.
Did I not do Doctor Who already? I guess I didn't.
Yeah.
What S is a common racial slur directed at Cardassians? What S? Me tapping on my forehead like this might be a small bit of a clue.
Oh, yeah. You completely give it away, but I'll take it.
So, that was Act 2, right?
That was Act 2, yes.
Yeah. So, only got a couple of bits. So, both a beta Marco, is it a beta Marco? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Did intensive research, including consultations with Amnesty International, to understand the psychology of torturers and torture methods and that kind of thing. Also, Patrick Stewart himself prepared for this scene by reviewing tapes provided by Amnesty International to kind of, again, try and get into that sort of headspace. And that's about all I have for Act 2.
Ruth is now confused. She's like, is it actually Spoonhead? She thought Wookiee early on was just being Wookiee. Double bluff on that.
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, I guess that's enough time. Yes, it was Minos Corva. Mutara, do you know what Mutara is?
Mutara Nebula from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, Meridian.
Well, I don't know. There's the Meridian line in astronomy, but...
there's an episode of Deep Space Nine called Meridian. I'm not sure it's Meridian System. And Metalis, there is...
the producer of Star Trek Picard.
Yep. But he also had a planet named after him, and hence a star system called Metalis Prime in Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh, Enterprise.
And then you go back to it in Picard, as I mentioned. Yeah. Metalis with a hyphen, but it's named after him. Yeah. And yes, they are spoonheads, because obviously it looks like they have a spoon in the center of their foreheads.
So, who said spoonheads? We have Maz, Tabby Keys.
Yeah. Tabikins,
Me.
Monteban.
Katie Fitness said
Stephen said
Metallica.
Spoonbrain.
Spoonbrain. We'll give him that.
And
Stu.
Ruth said, is it actually Spoonhead? I thought Wookie was just being Wookie. Was that a guess?
Yeah, I'm going to put that down as a guess. So we got Ruth as well. So yeah, we got everyone again. More the merrier on the dial if I'm there. So yeah,
Makes
right.
it less likely to lose 10 points.
Spin the wheel.
Well, I think that once there's 4 or more people, then it's fine.
Oh, it's
if
going to
there's
be
only 2 people on the wheel plus Wookiee, you're in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, Maz.
Maz has the look of the wheel tonight.
Is that the third wheel?
Mr. T is in the house.
Mr. T.
Happiness.
Good evening, Mr. T, Mr. Tabikins. I hope you're having a nice evening wherever you are in Scandinavia, somewhere.
You hear crunching again.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's,
she's muted now.
she's muted. She's muted. She's muted.
Okay.
Tabby's eating her seaweed. I have to say, a Snacks Go, I'm sure it's pretty fantastic because there's basically no calories in it. It's just chewy and salty. But yeah, I don't know where I get it where I live.
I went on top of Bodmin Moor this afternoon with Crystal Karen and Smiler Rainbow, and we walked at the Hurlers, which is like 2 large stone circles on Bodmin Moor, and we popped in a tea room, and I had a very nice Cornish pasty.
Nice.
That was my food for the day.
Yeah. Well, as I said, we get Dillisk over here, which is dried seaweed, but I don't live near the coast, so not so common.
I had a Cornish pasty and a local Cornish cider. It was very nice. Okay. Sorry.
You generally get them with sushi in the sushi section.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much sushi in the rural town in Ireland I live in, funnily enough.
No. Okay.
Tesco here.
Act 3. With Riker dismissed, Data is now temporarily promoted to first officer, and in the ready room, Jellico speculating why.
Looking at it now, red, delicious.
It does look good in red, I've got to say.
I kind of.
You know, the irony is they didn't put him in red because they felt it clashed with the makeup. He was the second officer. He should have been in red all along. But they're like, no, the yellow looks better with the makeup. Until today, and you go, no, it should have been red.
Yeah, that's because Jellico. Well, it's because he gets temporarily promoted to first officer, right?
Yeah, first officer, yeah.
Or second officer.
That's correct.
So yeah, and
he's always second
Jellico's
officer.
already showed he's a stickler for people. Yeah, sorry, he was. Yeah, but he's always a stickler for people wearing the right uniforms, right? So we can't apply that rule to Deanna. But
he was the second officer. He was chief of operations, and he was the chief of. He was a science officer as well. It's never mentioned dialogue. That's who he is. So he could wear a blue uniform. He could wear all 3 because all of them apply to him. But he always wore yellow just because. But the real reason was they felt that the red clashed with his makeup. But I think it looks great. So good on him.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I still like the yellow. Okay, so yes, we got that out of our system. Data is in red, and in the ready room, Jellico is speculating why the Cardassians went to all the trouble to lure a Federation team. Data points out that because of the Theta Ban emissions, Picard is the only captain with that knowledge, so they must have specifically lured Picard. They thought Picard would know the defense plans for Minas Corva. Jellico orders Geordi to scan Lemek's ship and see if he can determine where it's been recently. On Celtus 3, the Cardassian and his daughter are feeding their pet Wompat, and the Cardassian is telling his daughter how human parents don't love their children like Cardassians do. They're just not the same. The daughter leaves with her Wompat. Wookie says
chilling scene.
It's horrible. It's really, oh gosh, yeah. It's really differently now, but yeah, horrible. I'm taking my mind off it by going to Wookie's comment about he's seeing me more as a hot dog and taco man. But
you like them as well.
It's food, Wookie.
But we live in Devon, you know.
Yeah, we live in Devon. It's got
Well,
a
I mean,
pasty, you know.
what is a hot dog? It is meat held by bread. What is a taco? It is meat held by bread. What is a pasty? It is meat held by bread.
Pastry.
So it's not so different.
Unless it's a nipple cover.
Very different. It's
I always thought they were called pasties. I didn't realize it was pasties.
Oh, I wrote pasties, but you know when you guys say pasty, it just sounds like you're saying pasties with a
Right.
British
Well,
accent.
no, a pasty is it's like it's kind of like a dumpling, but it's like sandwich sized.
well, pasties.
You know, or like a calzone almost. You know, you like a stew, but they cover it in bread and bake it.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so yes, so the daughter leaves with the wompat. The human comments that the Cardassian's daughter is lovely, and the Cardassian agrees. The human's surprised that he exposed his child to the human suffering, pointing out that when children are taught at an early age to devalue life, it can lead them to devalue any life, including their own parents. The Cardassian calls him an arrogant man. He doesn't like being questioned like this. What does he know about Cardassians and Cardassian history? The human admits he knows they were once spiritual, peaceful people, but since the military took over, many more of them have died. The Cardassian counters that the military has brought them more land, mandated agriculture. With the military in charge, his daughter will never go hungry. The human tells him his daughter's belly may be full, but her spirit will be empty. And for that, the Cardassian slaps him across the face. I love how Picard just gets under his skin in this, you know.
Yeah, but it's a funny thing in a situation like that. Like being smacked in the face just means you won.
Yeah.
You know, that just gives you the energy back. It does the exact opposite of what you wanted to do. It's saying like, yeah, I have you fucker. You're
It's a
playing
very
my game.
excellent battle of wills, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tavi's asked me. Yes, I'm drinking rum and soda.
Yeah.
Ooh, spirit on the bingo board.
Smiler Rainbow thinks we need to feed Sean a real pasty. Maybe if when
I had
if
some.
you
I
think
was
it's stew wrapped in bread, you haven't had a good past.
well. I was trying to simplify it. I had some. I was in Bristol before. They had bakeries or maybe pastries. I don't know what they call them, and they sold the things. They're decent. I like them.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if you call them a bakery, but they were like a bakery, but they just sold pasties. Is there a special name for them? I don't know.
It'd
I
just
bought
probably
some.
be a pasty shop.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. Anyway,
Yeah.
I had some in Bath. I had some in Bristol. I was over before.
There's the human being slapped. Whoosh. I need a slap button. The Cardassian.
Oh, that's good.
The Cardassian goes back to the lights and asks the human how many lights there are, but the human replies, "What lights?" Which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of pain for his subordination, and there's the human in pain. On the bridge of the Enterprise, Geordi has discovered that Lamech's ship has some minor hull degradation along the warp nacelles, which indicates recent exposure to molecular dispersion field, most likely from travelling through the McAllister C5 nebula. Guessing the rest of the Cardassian fleet is hiding in the nebula, Jellico orders Data to take the ship there immediately. Back in the interrogation room sometime later, the human is woken up from dreaming of being home in France, having a Sunday dinner. The Cardassian wonders if this thought of home is what's keeping the human from breaking. He tells him he is remarkably strong-willed. There's no point in keeping him any longer. He might as well go. The human pulls himself up and heads towards the door, and the Cardassian tells him they will get all the information they want from one Dr. Beverly Crusher. She is fine at the moment, but unfortunately they had to kill Worf. The human tells him that Beverly is a doctor and will not have any information he wants. The Cardassian agrees he's probably right, but he'll have to determine that for himself in his own ways. The human retakes his seat in the interrogation room, and the Cardassian is pleased that the human is choosing to stay. And that is the end of Act 3. Question time.
Lovely stuff. Which of these boasts did Madrid? Oh, 200 out of 200. That worked out well. Literally every letter I went to post, I hit the max. Which of these boasts did Madrid say first? A, we have mandated agricultural programs. B, we acquired territory during the wars. C, we developed new resources. D, we initiated a rebuilding program. So which one did he say first?
God.
Guess.
The bonus question: what smart-ass answer did Picard give to the lights question in this act? Excuse me.
No, I'm guessing a B. Yes. I'm going for that.
Oh, I didn't get the bonus quite right.
Oh, everybody's gone A. That's not a good sign. Oh, Stu Plum went B, probably because he just copied me. Yeah, I've just probably led Stu Plum to his points doom. Apologise, Stu Plum.
I have a feeling, Monty, this might not be your night. I've not been tallying the scores, but you seem to be, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and such. Not much. We've mentioned about Data's uniform and stuff.
I don't have a
The
fart
Nitpicker's
sound.
Guide for Next Generation Checkers Volume 2 says that there's a lot of similarities between this and George Orwell's novel 1984. In the novel, the hero, Winston Smith, is tortured by O'Brien of the Thought Police, and O'Brien keeps asking, how many fingers do you see, whilst holding up 4 fingers, and the expected answer is 5. Unlike Winston, Picard never outwardly cracks, but obviously he admits later to Deanna that he might have been cracking on the inside.
Yes, later on towards the end. Don't forget to press the like button if you're watching this right now. You might not have been at the beginning. Don't forget to hit the like button, and feel free to throw some hearts or anything our way. Everything is welcome. And remember, if we get to the 500 subscribers, I will eat the Naga chocolate.
Yeah, please sell your firstborn
now?
child into indentured servitude on
I think we're still on 495.
Tell us to reap the profits.
495.
Ah, so we haven't gone up at all.
497. We've gone up 2. We're just 3 away.
Oh.
We are just 3 away. 3 away.
That's,
Exciting.
Yeah. Okay, answers to the question then, Sean.
all right. Yes, it was B. We acquired territory during the wars. That was the first one. And the smart answer is what lights or where are the lights, whatever it was. Yeah.
I got it right.
Oh, Stu Plum and Monty.
Wow. Well, there you go. So much for it not being my night, suckers. Damn. And it was a
That was
guess.
right. Was B right?
B.
Yeah, it's a bit evil doing that. When someone ranks off 4 like that, it's quite easy to just put them out of order and catch people out.
It helps that I just said it a second ago. So
Yeah.
That was
I've
that
caught you
was
like
a
that
help.
before. That you
I-
said something
I'm on the
45
guess.
seconds
I
before
really
and still
didn't
messed
know.
up.
just
Yeah, so it's
guessing.
what lights, something like that. So we've got, I think,
There are-
everyone on the. Is everybody on the?
Well, I put there are no lights, but
Close
anyone
enough.
got it wrong,
We'll
really.
take it. We'll take it, Maz. We'll put you on there.
Okay then.
What lights? No lights? Any lights?
Oh, and Katie Fitness needs to go on there as well.
Katie Fitness.
Said what
What on the?
lights?
Wow. I don't think the spinny wheel has ever looked so densely packed. Yeah. Okay.
Popular
Just
episode.
relax, spinning wheel. You can fit more in that way.
In fact, Smiler Rainbow said that's not a light
No.
in a Crocodile Dundee voice. Well, that's not a light. This is a light.
This is a lie.
Okay. I'm
Call that a
spinning.
lie?
Call that a light. Here we
This
go.
is the lie.
Oh no!
Props. Oh.
Oh, well, that's really bad for Katie Fitness because He answered the other question wrong, but then got the bonus right, so he's now actually in minus points position. Have we ever had that before?
No, but I mean,
not at the end of the game, but
he's on the scoreboard at least. I mean, he could end up getting some
he might
points.
be last, but he'd be on the scoreboard with that.
He could end up getting some points. So yeah. Okay, Act 4.
Since the good news is there were so many people on the wheel, it won't affect the results either way.
No. Everybody loses. We're all losers together.
Karen got away with not losing because she didn't answer the bonus.
I can't help but notice we've just lost a certain amount of yellow in the pictures here. Tabikins is gone.
Yeah, she said her phone battery died, so
she's got to plug her
she's
phone
only
in.
in chat now.
Oh no. Oh, sorry to hear that, Tavi. Sorry to hear that. Okay, so Act 4. In the observation lounge, Jellico tells the senior staff that Starfleet believes the Cardis are planning to hit Minus Cova, and they are hiding out in the nebula. He plans to hit them first. The crew thinks it's too much of a gamble, but the captain tells them that the discussion is mute because the plan has been decided. He asks Data how long the ships can stay in the nebula, and Data tells them it's for 17 hours. Jellico orders Worf to prepare 500 antimatter mines with magnetic targeting capabilities, and Geordi to prepare a shuttle outfit to survive in the nebula, and for Beverly to prepare sickbay for the casualties. Dismissed. In the interrogation room, the human is once again being woken up from being tortured, and this time the Cardassian offers him a boiled taspar egg. But when the human opens up, it turns out to be a raw fertilized egg. Yuck. Though disgusted because he's starving, the human eats it anyway. The Cardassian tells him a story of when he first ate a live taspar egg when he was a young, starving child sleeping in the doorways like animals. An older boy wanted his taspar egg and took it from him, breaking his arm in the process. The human tells him it must be gratifying to repay those years of misery on others. Torture is not a reliable means of extracting information, so whenever he looks at him now, he will not see a powerful Cardassian warrior. He will see a scared 6-year-old boy who's powerless to protect himself, and despite what he has done to him, he finds him a pitiable man. The Cardassian is...
So cool again, how he turns the tables.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
I know. He does it every time. Every time this Cardassian tries to interrogate him and prove a point, Picard just slams it around in his face. It's pretty good.
Yeah, he's just, it's very Shakespearean, and Picard, or rather Patrick Stewart, is just in his element. The two of them they're both Shakespearean actors.
Yeah,
and they just it could just as easily be Hamlet as it is anything else, and it definitely shows that they have the right material, they have the right actors, and they go at it. I love it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, the Cardassian is very annoyed, so he switches on the lights and orders Picard to stop it. Picard is pleased to be referred to by his name at last, so the Cardassian once again asks him about the defense plans for Minus Cova, and Picard responds that there are 4 lights. And for that, the Cardassian shouts, "There are 5!" and administers the pain. Whilst writhing in pain, Picard shouts out that he is 6 years old and helpless and weak, and he cannot hurt him. He then starts singing in French to take himself to his happy place. Meanwhile,
What song he was singing?
No, I don't know.
Sur le pont d'Avignon. I meant to mention it in Act 3 and I forgot. Thank you for that.
Meanwhile, on the Enterprise, Geordi's preparing a shuttle and is almost done. Jellico makes small talk about being a pilot once on the Jupiter run. Geordi has piloted that run himself. They reminisce about the Titan turn, and Geordi recommends Riker for the mission as he's the best pilot they've got.
Can I just point out one thing before we move off of this?
Yeah.
Do you know how many antimatter mines that Worf was ordered to prepare?
Yeah. 500.
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
500. Yeah.
We see 6.
Yeah.
And they never move. They're not.
Oh, is that what those are?
Well, they showed the external of the shuttle, and there's no there's nothing else. And Geordi's going up to the back door. Yeah, prepare another one. So supposedly those are the mines, and there's 7 of them, not 500. And yeah, that's that. It's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuplum says I can slow down. I think he thinks I'm going too fast. I'm just trying to get it
Well,
all
you
in,
know,
Stuplum.
we've got 2 acts to go, and we're only sort of 2 hours into the show, so we have done very well to
We've
keep up
done
this
very
pace.
well. I've tried.
I do
my
have a
best.
guest though, so I can't stay too late tonight.
No, I am working at it. Yes. Oh, there's one last picture for this act, and that is it. The Enterprise going into the nebula. There we go. And that is the end of the act. So we have a
picture, some kind of reuse,
question time, eh? It's been used a number of times. Yeah.
I don't have that in my trivia.
It's the Mutara Nebula effect that was used for the Wrath of Khan, but they used it. They've used it on a number of when the Enterprise was escaping from the Borg. When they were, I can't remember. There's been a number of times it's been used.
They put oil in a water tank and they shine a light behind it, and they take against a black background and they take an exposure of. That's what it is. Okay, so Act 4. Who does Jellico give an order to first in the observation lounge? Is it A, Geordi, B, Worf, C, Beverly, or D, Dat? Because apparently I can't copy and paste properly, and that should be Data. And sorry, I cut off the D. Oh, it's okay. Tavi isn't there to give out to me. And which turn did LaForge and Jellico say they both completed? So which turn, or which maneuver? But turn is in the word that they used. Or expression.
Who did he give it order to first?
So he said,
I've
you
just
do
got
this,
to
you
guess
do
on
this.
that one.
I think it must be. I think it must be. B. I don't know. Tavikins is there. She's here in spirit. Tavikins, are you there? Can you hear me? And
Where are you?
it's Titan's turn. You gotta, get past Jupiter and then swing around Titan's atmosphere, pulling max C or something like that, and then pray that nobody saw you, and yeah.
Oh, looks like I might have guessed the first one wrong then.
Well, I don't know.
I'm doing very poorly in this one.
I just think, what did you say? A, Geordie. Yeah, I think Geordie was last, actually. He orders Geordie to do this shuttle last.
Well, has enough time passed?
As well.
I don't know.
Well, I haven't done my practice yet.
Although Stuplum says A, so it might be Tavi and Mia are wrong.
Oh, we'll see in a minute. I think we
okay,
already mentioned about the antimatter mines and how there weren't enough to fit in that shuttle.
No, but do you know what they are? Have you
shuttle.
mentioned what these things are?
Son of Boys.
No.
Sonar
Yeah,
boys.
they're those things that they use for like
U.S.
testing.
Navy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're Navy surplus things. They're called Son of Boys. I don't know what they're used for, but that's what they're called.
They also were going to have a bit more of a confrontation between the Enterprise and the Cardassians, but they scrapped it due to budget and just had it as a bit of cat and mouse around the nebula instead.
Yeah.
Beverly's line, and I'll wait for the casualties you're about to send me, was inspired by a line from the Doomsday Machine, where Dr. McCoy informed Commodore Matt Decker, I'll go to sickbay and wait for the casualties you're about to send me. So in both cases, the regular Enterprise medical officer was speaking to a guest captain who had usurped the command of the ship.
One of the best TOS episodes. I love that episode.
Yeah, you like that one, didn't you?
Yeah, and the Captain Decker, or the Commodore Decker in that, is the father of First Officer Decker. From Star Trek One: The Motion Picture, which is why Decker and Kirk butt heads, because he kind of blames Kirk for the death of his dad.
And then they've recycled Riker, which is basically a different version of Decker.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sonar Boys. Sorry, I just looked them up. They're Sonar Boys.
Sonar Boys. Yeah.
Or buoys. Buoys, as Americans would call them. You know,
Yeah.
they float and do sonar for reconnaissance reasons. And for whatever reason, the TNG crew got a hold of a load of them and used them in all sorts of different shows.
Yeah, they use them as like test things when they're trying to test the transporter and things. And
Yeah,
things like that.
pretty much. Anytime they need any sort of bit of tech that someone can carry around, they use the Sonar Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dozens of uses.
My only other observation was that this kind of one-on-one battle of wills, sort of trying to break somebody, torture, is quite a uniquely Cardassian thing. You know, we see it from a variety of people. We see Golden Cat get this kind of unhealthy obsession with Cisco and Kira, and Garrick goes through a little phase with Odo, where he sort of has to torture him, and you know, it's always like one-on-one kind of psychological manipulation, and you know, trying to get under somebody's skin. Yeah, they're just not.
I think
really
possibly
nice.
because this episode works so well. It was so well received and it worked so well, and it kind of set a trait of the Cardassians that they just thought, well, let's just lean into that because it's worked well for us, so it became a thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the fact that, you know, they mentioned about the Bajorans and that, all of this is obviously setting the scene for DS9, but yeah, it's it does put them in a certain light that they do continue throughout.
Interesting question from Wookiee. Who do you think the Cardassians are an allegory of? Because we've had in the past where the Klingons have been through there. Originally, they were actually sort of mimicking the Chinese-American relationship.
Chinese and
then
the
they went through
well, more
their-
so the Japanese, because they're
then
only
they-
recently war.
yeah, Japanese, yeah.
But Asians in
And
general,
the Asian, the Asian fear, you know, they were the Asian fear.
Yeah, they had the Fu Manchu.
Yeah, and then they went through their Russian phase, where like Star Trek 6 and that,
they became more Russian.
They became more Russian because that was the Russian fear.
Yeah, they had the old Cold War in Star Trek 6
Yeah.
and Chernobyl disaster. Yeah,
But what do the Cardassians? What's their?
I don't know if they have.
I don't know if they have any.
Allegory.
Yeah.
They're they think very differently. I'm just going to read you a quote from Ducat from late in Deep Space Nine. Wei-Yun is talking about destroying all humans on Earth, and Wei-Yun goes, "Why not?" And Ducat goes, "Because a true victory is to make your enemies see they were wrong to oppose you in the first place, to force them to acknowledge your greatness." And Wei-Yun goes, "Then you kill them?" And Ducat goes, "Only if it's necessary." And Ducat replies, "Perhaps the biggest disappointment in my life is that the Bajoran people still refuse to appreciate how lucky they were to have me as their liberator. I protected them in so many ways, cared for them as if they were my own children. But this day, is there a single statue of me on Bajor?" So they're all a bit megalomaniacal. Whatever way you pronounce that.
Yeah.
Megalomaniacal.
Maniacal.
But to them, a victory is for other people to see that they're right, not just to dominate them physically. It's to get them to go along with their propaganda. But certainly, all of Deep Space Nine is leading back to this episode, and that's why part of the reason I love it so much. It's fantastic.
It's an interesting question.
Answers?
Sorry,
Yeah.
chief rambling. What act are we on?
Four?
Yeah, it was B, Worf.
We had A's and B's.
B.
It was B, Worf with the mines.
Yeah.
They were all given orders. Beverly was actually, Data wasn't given any orders. Beverly was last.
No, Data just
second.
provided information about the nebula and how long you could stay in it.
Yeah, but he just followed like a puppy dog. He didn't actually have any part in the scene. He had no lines at all. And it was the Titans' turn, as I think everyone got that right.
Yeah. Everyone? So who we got then? I don't think Katie fit in
Mazza,
Scotland.
Monty, Tavi, Stu Plum, Ruth. That's everybody.
Right, I am going to spin the wheel. Oh.
Monty! 2 spins, isn't it?
I won twice. That's once in the last episode and once in this episode. There we go.
Nice.
Fix, I tell you.
The line must be drawn here.
There we go. Okay. We're into the final act. Don't worry, Stu Plum. We'll get you to bed soon. And here we go. So Jellico goes to Riker's quarters, who's looking through Picard's Shakespeare book. Jellico initially makes some small talk about Will being a musician, but realizes that it's not working, so asks to drop ranks. He tells Will he doesn't like him and lists all the reasons why. Riker admits that, well, what if we're dropping ranks? I don't like you either, and lists all the reasons why he doesn't like Jellico, and his list is equally long. It's quite funny that they both call each other arrogant. Jellico admits he can't order him to fly the shuttle, so Riker tells him, well, just ask. Which he does, and Riker says yes.
No!
No, not gonna. Jellico goes to leave without saying anything else, but as he leaves, Riker shouts back, "You're welcome."
Although, yeah, he could have been a bit more gracious about it.
They really don't like each other, do they?
I know he's a captain and he can't order him to do it, but he came down there to half grovel, and yeah, he could have been less of a dick. He understood the limitations of his abilities for half a moment, and yeah. He could have just climbed down a lot sooner.
I love that. He can just put up a chief rambling.
Well, I did go on quite a tangent about
rambling,
but
yeah.
But I like the fact he just accepted the fact that, you know, it's okay to not agree with someone and still work with them towards a common goal. You know, occasionally you won't agree with someone, but we both accept this has to happen, so we're working together. Put that aside. Get the fucking task done.
Yeah.
Bit of bang bang.
The shuttle's flying through the nebula, and they are being buffeted about, and they start deploying the mines. They finish the mine laying, and return to the Enterprise.
One of those.
And Jellico opens up a channel to the Reklar and tells them, "You're covered in mines." Initially, Lemek thinks Jellico's bluffing and demands the Enterprise to retreat, but Jellico then orders Worf to detonate one of the small ones, and the Reklar is rocked by an explosion. Lemek is eventually convinced to back down. Then he asks what Jellico's terms are. Jellico tells him that the ships will leave the nebula one by one, jettisoning their primary phaser coils as they leave. Oh, and also return the Starfleet officer you're holding, named Jean-Luc Picard, immediately. Back in the interrogation room, Picard gets hold of the pain device and smashes it, but the Cardassian enters and tells him he has many more where that came from. Picard admits, though, it felt good. The Cardassian tells him there's been a battle and the Enterprise is burning in space. They have retaken Minus Corva without his help. Picard tells him he doesn't believe it. He tells Picard he'll be listed as one of the missing in his crew, and no one will know he's here, and he's going to be here for a long, long time. The Cardassian offers him a choice again. For this long stay, being in misery or in comfort full of women and intellectual challenge. All he has to do is tell him how many lights he sees. Picard studies the lights for a long time. When Lemek enters and is shocked by Picard's appearance, he orders the Cardassian to clean him up for transport back to the Enterprise. But before he goes, Picard shouts back at the Cardassian, "There are 4 lights!" And they escort him out. with Picard shrugging off his assistants.
And that line is never repeated ever again.
Ever again. Back on
Never
the
again. No, done.
Enterprise, Picard enters the bridge and Jellico hands over the command codes back to Picard and tells the crew it was honoured to serve them, and he leaves. Goodbye. Picard hands the bridge over to Riker and heads to his ready room with Deanna. Picard tells Troy what he omitted from the report was that at the end, when the Cardassian asked how many lights, he was going to tell him everything and anything he wanted. But more than that, he believed for that moment that he could indeed see 5 lights. And that is the end of Chain of Command.
Now, Mazza, before I spill this particular point, the voice message about Picard being back in command, do you have any trivia on that?
The voice message. No, I don't think so.
Okay, it's when Picard in season 3 takes command of the Enterprise D again. It's Majel Barrett's voice comes out and says, "This vessel is currently under the captainship of Captain Jean-Luc Picard," and Picard goes, "Under the circumstances, I'll accept the demotion." So in Picard season 3, when he takes command of the Enterprise again, they use the same audio clip. So I guess they haven't updated the trivia on this one on the sources you have. But I love that fact. But like obviously he plays off and he says, "I'll accept the demotion," like the systems aren't up to date. But they use the exact same audio clip. Outside of that, the questions. What ship is Gul Lebek on? Is it the half a second. Is it the A, Reklar, B, Trager, C, Vetar, or D, the Kraxen? And the final bonus question, and I admit you did say it earlier, but enough time has passed. What class of ship is the USS Cairo?
Oh, I wasn't expecting that to come up as a question later.
I'm sure you remember that, but maybe everyone else doesn't.
I'm trying to remember. So I don't have much more. Ronnie Cox greatly enjoyed the role that his character played. A bit like we were saying earlier about, he's a bit of a hard ass. He also says himself that, he doesn't see himself as being a villain in any way. He was just, a tough captain. He dealt with the Cardassians well. He thought he ran the Enterprise really well. And he likes the fact that, when he handed it over, it was like, I've given it back to you perhaps better than it was before, in climate. He's tightened up things. He's made the warp more efficient. I mean, he did make a lot of improvements, right? So pretty effective, really, as far as captains go. And he likes the fact that he's...
I was just going to say, he didn't he? He shut down all the science labs and he reassigned all the crews so he could have 4 shifts. So, yeah, all the science stuff they normally do was like shutdowns and that had to be put back.
He's made it better as a battleship, but
as a battleship in a time of war,
is now screwed.
as a Starfleet ship in a time of peace, not so much.
Yeah,
definitely. And he also likes that he's, a trivia answer where they say that he was the only, visiting captain to make a captain's log, which is kind of true. I mean, but we did cover on Rascals that actually the young Picard was another guest actor to have done a captain's log, but obviously he wasn't necessarily like a visiting captain. But yeah, it's still an honor of some kind.
Yep.
Yeah, the rest I've got is some reception, which I guess we'll talk about in a minute when we're doing the scores.
The good ship,
Humperdinck.
Humperdinck.
So, most people seem to have answered A and Excelsior.
Yes, it was the Reklar. The other ships were all Cardassian Galore class warships. the Craxon was featured in the episode Defiance. The other ones I don't even know, but there were surprisingly there's only about 8 Galore class warships that are mentioned by name in all of Star Trek. But I managed to find a couple to fill out the question, and so it was an Excelsior, and no points for this. But can someone tell me what registry number the USS Excelsior has? No points at all. Just does anyone know?
Yep, I do. In its original one or its later one?
No, it's original one that suited Captain later.
NX 2000 in its original format, but then in
The
Star
2000,
Trek 6, it was NCC 2000.
Well, I was 2000 would have settled that, but perfect. That'll do me.
Very cool.
Who won the last spin?
Monty.
I did, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, on this spin then you have Mazza, Monty, Tavi, Ruth. And I think that's it.
Right, hang on. It was who? Sorry, me? Was it me?
Mazza, Monty,
Mazza,
Tavi, Ruth.
Tabby. No Stu Plum. Mazza, Monty,
No.
Tavi, Ruth, and Wookie. You might be lucky, Stu Plum. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. This could be your time. I'm
Stu
spinning the
Plum,
wheel.
hoping for
Do do dip dip do do dip do dip. Oh no.
Oh, double walk.
Oh.
Unlucky.
I think that's the third
Minus
time
10
he's
for
come up this
everybody but
evening, isn't it?
Stu Plum.
Oh no. The Wookiee strikes again. Engelbert Humperdinck. Yes, he was a Humperdinck. I'm annoyed because I've heard the word Humperdinck somewhere else recently. I'm pretty sure, and I don't know where. It's bothering me.
We need to call an end to the bingo as well, so Tavi can tot up any extra points.
Tabbykins, the bingo has ended. It is finished.
Oh, okay. I was going to throw in like 15 references.
Yeah. There we go. No more references. No more references. Bingo is closed.
Too late to talk about Strange New Worlds,
It's
or Deep
too
Space
late.
Nine, or
It's too
Prodigy,
late.
or
It's all too,
Doctor Who, or Babylon 5. Sorry.
it's too late. And right, yeah. So I'll just get the old didgeridoo out. Start thinking about Engelbert Humperdinck. Yep, start thinking about what you give this episode out of 10. 0 to 10. What do you rate Chain of Command Part 2?
Yeah, and in terms of some reception-y stuff, there was a line cut from the final episode, which was stating that Starfleet had also sent the USS Ares, Berlin, and USS Sutherland to assist, and they were 3 days behind. So yeah, the Enterprise did have cavalry coming. Mike Pillar was saying, it's a great episode. It had no tricks and whiz-bang stuff. One of the least expensive of the season, but David Warner was sensational and Patrick Stewart even better. I don't think there's been a better show in the history of the series, and certainly not a better hour of TV on that year. Wow. Some acclaim. Jerry Taylor said, it's not possible that there are 5 better male actors in this town than Patrick Stewart. Probably his finest performance. Threw himself into it physically, mentally. I mentioned earlier there were some viewer complaints about the more graphic scenes.
Yeah.
And I think we mentioned earlier that in the 50th anniversary Star Trek Convention Las Vegas, they voted this and won the joint 7th best episode of the franchise.
Well, I'm not doubting Sir Patrick Stewart's acting abilities. They gave him a Shakespearean script in a Shakespearean one-act play kind of environment, and he did well at it against another Shakespearean actor. I'm not saying he didn't do well, and it's not an exceptional episode of one of my favorite episodes, but the deck was stacked in his favor. You know, they really gave him meat to work with. So,
it was in his wheelhouse, wasn't it? Yeah, it was his.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still obsessing about Humperdinck and why I recognise that word right now. It's annoying me.
Princess Bride.
Engelbert Humperdinck, the singer. Is that what you're thinking of, or something else?
No, not the singer. No, but yeah, something about Humperdinck. Something I've seen recently is just in my head. I don't know. But, yeah, there we go. Yep. So right, where are we? Maz is busy putting all the figures together. She's calculating.
Yeah.
She's massaging. She's.
I think we have a.
Do we have a?
We have an order.
We have an order,
So
right?
Quite a few people. So, first place with 435 points and 10 on the scoreboard is Monteban.
Yay! Let's have applause. There we go. Hooray.
Applause for yourself. Brilliant.
Thanks.
I want to recount.
And next in second place is Dovikins with 9 points and 345 TNG review points. Next with 310, we have Stuplum with 8 points on the board.
Oh, well done, Stuplum.
And only 5 points behind with 305 is Ruth with 7 points on the board.
789.
And then quite a way behind Ruth with 225 points is myself. So 6 points on the scoreboard from Mazza.
82.
Considering Ruth missed 1 or 2 nights, doing quite well.
It's doing very well.
And then we have Karen, who got a question mark earlier, got 40 points, is in fifth place, is in, what's that? Yeah, 6th place with 5 points.
17.
Next, with some points on the bingo, we have Smiler with 4 points on the board.
Smiler, 4 points, but you on 8.
Next, we have Gudjon with 5 bingo points, 3 points on the board.
Is he on there? Oh, Mr. Tavikins. How many?
Yeah, Mr. T. 3 points on the board.
3.
And finally, with a record-breaking, we've never had it before, ending with minus 10 points, is AD Fitness with 2 points on the scoreboard.
2. Because you're on 7. Right, I better do a bit of a shuffle around because this does make quite a bit of difference to some of the places throughout the order. Oh, come here. B and sort. Yeah, that Karen's shot up now. She's just behind yourself, Maz. Well, I say just behind, but there's a little bit of a gap. But she's definitely ahead of the non-regulars, I guess you could say, if you know what I mean. But yeah. And
Ruth was saying that there was a time when we were putting her name on the wheel when she wasn't even here. It's because she'd had terrible wheel luck. So we kept putting her name on in the hope that she'd finally win one because she hadn't won it for weeks.
It didn't always work, though, did it? It didn't always work.
No, it did not really work, but we tried.
But still, the scores are all still pretty tight. There's only 11 in the top 5 there. So it's still possibly anybody's game for the rest of the season. It's still early days yet. We're not even halfway through.
It's another 15 episodes or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. It's time to score. What would you give this episode?
We have a 6 from Ruth and an 8 from Stuplum. Debating, Monty?
I'm debating.
Yeah, Wookiees asked me. You actually remind me of Han Solo
Princess
tonight
Bride.
Waistcoat. And I'm doing the in the pale moonlight thing where I'm slowly getting more and more undressed as the episode goes on.
Yeah.
And
stay with us for another hour, and it's going to turn into an OnlyFans.
Yeah. If you haven't seen In the Pale Moonlight, may I suggest you watch it because based on two favorite episodes of all of Star Trek is In the Pale Moonlight and Far Beyond the Stars. They both happen to be Deep Space Nine, and they're like 10 episodes apart in Deep Space Nine, but they're the best Trek has ever been.
Okie dokie. Are you ready with your paddles?
Yep.
Tavykins, you're just going to have to put yours in. Oh, I see you put it in backstage.
Oh, she did.
It's really
Yeah,
hard
I'll say
chatting.
it in a second once we declare it.
Yeah. Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. 10, 9, I just kidding. 3,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
1. Wow, we're just
9,
in
9, 8. And
we-
Tavi scored 8. So 2 9s, 2 8s.
9. We've been in tune recently, Maz.
Yeah.
What's weird is
And what did
yeah.
what did Sean give it?
8 for Tavi.
I gave it 8. Yeah.
8 for Tavi.
And
And we had a
yours?
6 and an 8 in chat, so that's an average of 7.
7.
I enjoyed the first half better, but that's I guess just because of all the Deep Space Nine references that aren't even.
Oh,
Deep Space
I
Nine
just-
references. It's like I see it
I
coming.
just love this episode.
I think-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, it's-
Wookiee's score is 8. So
Oh,
did that
that'll
change
put it. Will it, put it,
What's,
will it round
an
it up?
8,
Or I don't know.
6 and an 8 makes it 7.3. So it's
Oh, it's still a 7. Yeah, for me, I just think I toyed with the. You saw me debating. You said you can't decide because I was thinking I might go 10. I was thinking I might go for a big 10 here and make a statement. But
Wow.
that's what I was debating when I was like looking at my paddle. But I decided to temper it with a 9 because it's not perfect. But I thought that the way they treated the torture scenes and the way they didn't shy from making it shocking for Star Trek, I just thought that's very powerful. And I've always thought it's a very powerful episode. And just to, hammer home he's our hero, the way he took everything that's the Cardassian threw at him and turned it around and stuck it back in his face was just awesome and satisfying. It's very satisfying.
We're not far apart in opinions. I prefer part 1, you prefer part 2, but ultimately we're on the same page. This is as good as TNG
Great
gets.
two-parter.
Yeah, I even well, maybe that won't bear out in the scores because everyone has their own personal favorites, but yeah, it's fantastic. And
I
as
think
said,
still
I get a little bit giddy
part
because
two scores a little higher, right? Oh no, is it the highest score?
Part 2 is
Go to the right. Go to the right.
is
Oh,
now
second
the second
highest
highest
after Fistful of
behind
Data.
Fistful of Datas. Yeah.
Nice.
Personally, yeah, I don't know. I think I'd probably score this episode slightly higher than Fistful of Datas. Personally,
well,
it had the
Tavi has a strong
In
influence.
fact, we
on
all
the
scored
group.
Fistful of Datas really high, didn't we?
yeah, it's good. That's why I thought maybe I should give it a 10, but
We should give it a 10 now.
I wish I'd give it a 10. We should have got a 10, shouldn't we? Should we change it? I'm the boss. I can change it if I want.
Well, you can change yours if you want. Mine's staying at a 9.
But we've been pretty this season. Look, we got like 7 7,
4 weeks
a
running
9
with,
9, a 7 7, a 7 7, a 9 9. We've been in tune. We've been in tune. The only time we
Good
diverged was
episodes, as Stu Blum
Rascals.
says.
I like Rascals.
And Data in red, so she gives it at least an 8.
And Data in red, yes.
Data in red is
That upped the
just
score.
goddamn fantastic, and like I'm on the turn. I'm gonna be honest here. Like he's just fantastic.
Yeah. So there you go.
Care to guess what we have coming next week?
I don't know. Can you close the door? Close the door.
Yes.
What do we got?
But,
What do we got coming up next week, Sean?
All right, who played Khan in the Kelvinverse films?
It was Cumberbund.
Cumberbund, yeah. Hufflepuff, Snugglepuff, yeah, him.
Yeah.
And what role was he famous for before that?
Schlock.
And who did Sherlock face off against?
Moriarty.
Moriarty.
Yeah. Sherlock and Moriarty are both Irish names. We'll get into that
Schlock and
next week.
Moriarty.
And Moriarty, yeah. Omer Hertig, if you want to say it in old school.
Who come back in Picard.
Yes. So,
Random.
Ship in a Bottle. So it's the return of Moriarty after like 4 years because they finally figured out that he was or wasn't public domain and got the rights back.
Hey,
And
they settled
Barclay
their
takes him
differences.
out of the transporter buffer after years of being forgotten, and we have all sorts of fun. And Data and Moriarty face off, and he's puzzle within a puzzle. I won't go into any more detail, but yeah, it's a Data episode, it's a Moriarty episode, and of course he comes back in Picard season 3 just because.
Yeah. Because they've got him and they can use him, and it's a good
because they got him, and he's a facet of Data's personality. So it's a big D-Man episode.
A D-Man.
And so Tavi is going to give him at least an 8, if not more.
Oh, I just realised the tile's fallen off my wall.
Don't worry.
He's got a giant bottle as big as he is. He's been running around the house.
Chewie, have you got a Lucasade bottle?
We're not quite sure how.
I don't know. He's got a bottle and he's happy.
What does that mean? He shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Majrams people, no.
There's a guy in
Said it was a
Dublin.
good one, guys. Thanks.
There's a guy in Dublin. He's a Tyler, and his business is called Bonnie Tylers. And then there's a different guy. There's a different guy, and he does flooring, and he's called Lionel Richie.
Hello.
And that's just.
Do you need flooring?
Actually, there's a different company, and I forget the name of it, but they bring chicken around in frozen vans, and their tagline is "Poultry in Motion."
Oh dear.
It's just.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's my humor.
He loves the puns.
He loves a good punnage.
He loves the
Dad
funny
jokes.
punnies.
So follow Delta Shift on Twitter for more Jellico memes because they're just great. There's some Data memes too, and they're
Hamilkins is wanting more. The rest of us are wanting a bit less.
Well, you know. Did you I don't know if I've got it here anymore actually. No, I don't.
He lost the Shut Up Sean.
Oh no, I've got that. No, I've got that. But I had some of the top jokes from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and I was going to say one or two of them, but I've lost it now.
So Tavi's going to sign up to that Jericho Twitter account because she loves the.
It's fantastic.
She loves the dad jokes.
Yeah, it's at Delta Shift, and just it's so good.
Katie Fitness says, "Bring on the pun train." Toot toot.
Oh, there we go. So this is the top. This was voted the best joke at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Okay. I started dating a zookeeper, but it turned out he's a cheater.
No, that
Cheater.
deserves the whistle blowing one, not the bit of chink. Yeah.
The most British thing I've ever heard, a lady who said, "Well, I'm sorry, but I don't apologise."
Fair enough. Probably true.
Last year I had a good joke about inflation, but it's hardly worth it now. No.
You know, I didn't used to like beards, but then they grew on me.
Hey.
I just leave.
I thought I'd start off with a joke about the Titanic, just to break the ice. No.
I kept wondering what that object was coming closer to me and getting bigger, and then it hit me.
Anyway.
Tabakins is just laughing her ass off. She's loving it.
My friend got locked in a coffee place overnight. Now he only ever goes into Starbucks and not the rivals. He's claustrophobic.
No.
No.
Do you remember that old joke about boomerangs? Don't worry, it'll come back to you.
Oh dear. Anyway, there you
Oh, thank God. Is it over?
go.
Yeah, that'll do us. Yeah.
That'll
Wow.
do. That'll do.
Don't ever do that again.
Maz was just traumatized. Oh dear. Yeah. Hey, we got some laughy emoji thingies in the chat. So yeah, Maz.
Yeah, I think Avi and Katie Fitness are loving it.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm looking forward to Moriarty coming back next week. That's going to be cool.
Good.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us live. Thanks everyone for watching us back,
Yeah,
which is
there's
a
quite a lot of
multiple
people
of the people
tonight.
that joined us live. Because only 9 people watch us live and 50 people watch us overall. So yeah, thanks to the people who catch up with us. As I said, sell us to your newborn child. Recommend us to your friends. Join our cult. Sign over your pension to us and whatever else you care to do. We will see you next week.
All we need is another 3
People's
subscribers.
still there listening to the dad jokes.
Another 3 subscribers, and next
3
week
more,
I'll
and
be
the Naga chili
eating the
comes
Naga
out.
chili. If you want to see that next week, find some friends, and just 3 more, and Naga chili it is. Anyway, thank you, Mazima Bob and Chief Sean, and thank you to everyone in live chat, from Wookie to Stuplum to Andrew to Katie Fitness, to the Wookie, to Tavikins Turner for her phone dying. Sorry you weren't here with us at the very end. To Ruth, our lovely Ruth, for coming along, and the beard, Mr. Tavikins,
Karen,
Crystal
Mr.
Karen.
T.
My ever-suffering Wrench, Smiler Rainbow, who had some corkers in chat today, keeping everybody front and centre and honest. We will see you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Oh, go on, Sean. You could ruin
Just
my
before we
outro
cut
there.
off,
Just
could
get
you
in
just
there
go into
and
the
just-
YouTube chat and find the 2 little clips that I mentioned earlier
Okay, what am I looking
from
for?
Lower Decks.
Oh,
So in
I
the
just
YouTube
said
chat, there's 2
goodbye.
little 20-second clips from Lower Decks.
uh,
I don't know if you can present them and play them with audio.
where am I
I'm
looking?
so
Don't worry about it.
close to
Where?
going home early.
Where am I going?
We'll
Where am I
be-
looking?
So in the YouTube,
YouTube?
our chat on,
Can
in
you
the
not post them
Facebook chat.
again?
Facebook.
In the Facebook
Oh,
chat.
Facebook chat.
Right.
I said YouTube,
Oh.
I meant Facebook.
Oh,
That
okay.
I chopped up 2 clips of Lower Decks that directly reference this episode,
Okay. All right. Here we go.
and they're 15 seconds each.
I'm getting
Sorry
there.
guys, we'll have you on in 2 or 3 minutes, but they're so good they have to be shown. They're fantastic.
After this show, Wookie says he's so going to watch that Get Swifty video that we linked to earlier.
First officer's log.
Well, do you ever hear the story about Rick and Morty? And they talked about this Szechuan sauce from
No.
the Mulan, released in Mulan 30 years earlier, and they caused riots at McDonald's all across the country. That show was big.
Chrome tab. Is it that one? Share audio. Here we go. This one?
Yeah, that's it.
First officer's log. An elite team from the Cerritos has been selected by Admiral Siltrak to liaise with the Pacifian agricultural colony in disputed territory. Captain Freeman, Shax, and myself have been enlisted to join the mission due to our expertise in the germination of roulotte seeds. In our absence, the Cerritos will receive a temporary transfer of command to a visiting captain.
Visiting captain? No, so lame.
I figured you'd love a break from our usual guys.
Subcaps never know what they're doing. They're all like, buffer the phase coils, and we're like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I don't want some babysitter Jellico type hovering over us when we're already going to a bog planet, which is like the worst kind of planets as far as planets go.
Bogs.
That's that one.
Yeah, that's the clip. Yeah, there's a second one from a different episode, but it
Hang on.
references this again.
Hang on. That one?
Sorry, I did post it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Guards!
Yeah, that's the exact room. Phaser maybe should have been purple if you're honouring the episode.
Oh my god, Mariner, you gotta get me out of here. They keep showing me lights.
No, I am still mad at you.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Very good. Very good.
I just love the line. They keep showing me lights. It's just like,
They keep showing lights.
oh, those are from 2 separate episodes, but it's just like, yeah, it's just so embedded in Trek culture. I love this episode.
Yeah. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for that. It was worth stopping for. I am now
Yeah, it
going to
was
say.
worth editing the episodes down to 20-second clips.
Yeah, very good, very good. Right, we'll see you all next Wednesday at 8 o'clock for the next episode of TNG. See you then. Cheers, everyone. Bye.